Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, Plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Welcome, everybody. It's the ultimate Cleveland sports show, along with G. Bush, Tyvis Powell. I'm Adam the Bull. We got a lot to get to today, guys.
First and foremost, before we get to any of that,
what you got?
Shout out to Tyvis in that coat, man. I'm going to bring attention to it.
Like a Letterman jacket.
Are you working your way back?
Nah, man.
Are you coming back? See, Tyvis, man, you know what I'm saying? When Tyvis, you know, he was one of them ones on the forefront with the expensive jackets, you know what I'm saying? All the Versace. I like that Letterman right there.
Appreciate that, man.
That's stitched on. That ain't an iron on.
You know what I'm saying? Definitely.
You went full Guardians today with the jersey,
With the underneath piece?
the jacket, and the hat. Why full Guardians today?
You know, I think that when I look at the Guardians and what everything that they stand for, they are exactly what you think of when you grow up in Cleveland. You don't have a lot of money to work with, but somehow, some way you make it work and you find a way. And to me, when I think about just my life and how things work, I think I relate more to the Guardians. Because there's nothing better than taking a little bit of money and making the best out of it.
When did you start doing anecdotes?
Damn.
You like
You
that?
just gonna take my whole spiel? When did you start?
Like that?
That was some deep philosophy.
I'm like, this is campaign season over. You know, when I think to my childhood living up on the east side, you know, we very often had little. And so I love what the Guardians do. It's a parallel to what we did as a family.
Yeah.
That's why they're so relatable.
You know,
That's why they're relatable.
so relatable to them, you know.
On the other side of the glass, of course, we have Steve and no Anthony. He's missing in action.
He's back tomorrow.
And then we have hoity-toity Mike, who grew up on the Jersey Shore over there. Very fancy schmancy.
We don't know where he's from, bro. I told you he's a chameleon, bro.
What do you claim?
Where you claim?
Jersey.
I'm from Jersey, yeah.
Jersey Shore.
But this is the guy you take. If you need a wingman, if you're trying to impress some girls, you bring McNuggets. You know why? He's decently educated.
Decently.
He's decently educated. He's a white dude that played basketball in college,
So
which
he
is
gets
a
a little black
unicorn.
credit.
He gets credit.
Yeah.
And then he can use these little things, like these little stories. So he can say, if you say I'm from Jersey, that means you could probably say I'm from New York.
Right. You can get away with that.
So you get away with that.
Yeah.
You could be inner city Jersey or outshore Jersey.
Yeah.
So you get that off. Then he's from Texas. Texas is a whole new world. Like he was like, yeah, I was down there a couple of years, A&M. And if you say you was at A&M, you could get Austin off. You could go back and forth and be
Dallas, Houston,
all of them joints. He lived in Tennessee.
That's true. They're right. If you go to a redneck bar, he can fit in there too.
He's like,
Tennessee.
He throw these random little small towns out in Tennessee.
Yeah.
And then he can be like, yeah, but I'm working currently in Cleveland.
Yeah.
I do some trips and different things. And I go, you're like, dang.
And then on top of all that, if you're talking to some black women, they love his hair.
And
They do?
They do.
Love his hair.
Yeah.
Why do black women love his hair?
I don't know.
I didn't even know this.
Black women love that
swoop.
Yeah,
boy.
that little swoop.
That little swoop joint. That layover. We call it.
I don't know why, but they
Tyvis
do.
ain't telling no lies.
They really do. I don't know what it's about.
Hey, you know what?
That is shocking.
And let me stop saying this before people get in these streets. They ain't never gonna let you hang out no more. They be like, listen, you at the house, where you at? Oh, you want an Emmy? You ain't going nowhere. Yeah. Well, I got a date tonight. You're like, but we just went on it. No, it don't matter.
You know,
we got your own hats now.
Oh yeah, man! Shout out to the
Just seen the G.
So the G, it's G Tech.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? G Tech is a new. You know what I'm saying? It's like a new language. It's like a new curriculum.
Really?
G Tech. You know what I'm saying?
Is that your company, or is there an actual G Tech company having nothing to do with you, and you're just gravy train in a hat?
Look at this man.
G, pick one camera. G, just pick one camera to look at.
Oh, man.
I'm gonna let that ride.
So, as we go to our first topic, Mike, why don't you Why don't you do a read, and then we'll get to our first topic here.
Yeah, let's get into it. We're going to start football. We're going to do a ton of Cavs off the top, but we got something this morning from Jason Lloyd in The Athletic that we had to address in the show. And this first topic is going to be brought to us by FanDuel. Get ready to tackle all of your NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if that first $5 bet wins. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out all the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to join today. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
So yesterday on my podcast, I talked with Charles Davis. We had a fascinating conversation about the media and football and stuff. But I also asked him about Madden football because, of course, he's one of the voices of Madden football. We talked about that, and he talked about all the great people that work on Madden football. It was a fascinating conversation. Check out my podcast that came out last night. But speaking of Madden football, apparently there's at least one owner in the NFL that has made at least 2 decisions that we know of based on Madden ratings. Now, you would assume that owner would be Jimmy Haslam, because we know Jimmy Haslam to be, I don't know, not the sharpest tool in the shed.
He's a great owner.
No, he's a terrible owner.
No, he's a great owner.
Well, he's not. Well, you work for him partly, so
great owner.
Say whatever you want. I don't work for him. He's pretty bad. But it was not, in fact, Jimmy Haslam. It was Woody Johnson, the owner of the Jets. Mike, you got the quotes there?
Yeah, I'm going to read this to you guys word for word from the article in The Athletic this morning because it is
this is Mike stalling for time right now.
It's pretty telling. Yeah, I had it open now. I think you'll find it. Okay.
Boy, your New Year's resolution
have not
is to
gone.
not
But this
have not gone.
No,
it is
it's
not
totally fine.
taken.
This
It's not taken.
This is from The Athletic in regards to Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah.
And I quote, "A few weeks later, Joe Douglas and his Broncos counterpart, George Patton, were deep in negotiations for a trade that would have sent Jerry Jeudy to the Jets and given future Hall of Fame quarterback Aaron Rodgers another potential playmaker. The Broncos felt a deal was near, then abruptly it fell apart. In Denver's executive offices, they couldn't believe the reason why. Douglas told the Broncos that Woody Johnson didn't want to make the trade because the owner felt Judy's player rating in Madden, the popular video game, wasn't high enough according to multiple league sources. The Broncos ultimately traded the receiver to the Cleveland Browns. Last Sunday, Jeudy crossed the 1,000-yard receiving mark for the first time in his career." End quote.
Now,
There's no way that this is true.
Right, it seems impossible.
There's
I
no
said the
way.
same thing to Mike.
No
I mean, Diana Rossini wrote this article, right, for The Athletic?
Rossini, Mike Silver, a couple different, the Jets athletic reporter all contributed to this report.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Mike, by the way, it's kind of gone quiet in the last few years. Mike Silver, I guarantee you, I'd bet my house, Mike Silver has blocked more people in the city of Cleveland on Twitter than anybody on the planet.
I wouldn't actually know.
Remember that? You know why?
Why?
Because he was the greatest Hugh Jackson apologist ever. So anytime somebody said something bad on Twitter about Hugh Jackson, he would block you on Twitter.
I remember he used to float them Hugh Jackson stories.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
he was a clown. He's a clown show. But Diana Rossini, she's a credible reporter, and I don't know. This story's hard to believe, though.
I can't believe it.
But why would they have put this story out there?
It's because there ain't nothing going
people
on
don't
in New
just
York
make stuff
right?
up.
They ain't got nothing
They're
going
not
on.
going to make stuff up.
There is no way in the world that this man got on mad.
Oh, yeah.
You've been around these people. These owners, especially the ones, and I believe Woody Johnson is in this group, just like Jimmy Haslam's in the group. To me, I don't know how many billionaires there are in America. The ones that, listen, for the most part, to be a billionaire, you got to do some shady stuff, I would assume, right? I mean, let's be honest.
I wouldn't know. I ain't a billionaire.
Okay. But at least the billionaires out there that did it on their own, that like Mark Cuban, right? He's a self-made man.
Okay.
He didn't get money handed to him from his family. He built his fortune. Guys like Jimmy Haslam and Woody Johnson, they were born on third and, think they hit a triple.
Shout out to Jim Harbaugh. Huh?
Shout out Jim Harbaugh. He's right, by the way, to Ryan Day from a football perspective. And so they don't live in reality. Everything they own is a toy to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
They treat their sport guys like that, especially the ones that didn't earn their own money, treat their teams as toys, just like we would as a kid treat our toys. Yesterday, G. Bush was telling a story about getting toys at Christmas, right? Mm-hmm. And then he had to share his toys. Mm-hmm. Well, and you didn't want to share your toys because they're your new toys. It's the same thing with these owners. They don't want to share their toys. They don't want to give any power to the GM. They don't want to give any power because it's my toy, it's my team. And ultimately, they're right. It is their team and their toy. They can do whatever the hell we want. But this was what makes me crazy is that fans correlate spending money with being a good owner. And while, yes, you would always prefer your owner to spend money, and that is a positive, it is not the only thing that makes a good owner.
Yeah,
and
Bull,
this is insane.
Bull is 100% correct in this fashion. Actually, to be truthful, this is 1,000% true. I have no doubt in my mind that it's 1,000% true. And fans, I think, are so detached from what the billionaires and trillionaires are doing. Like, there is a heavy class system in America, a heavy one. There is a class system amongst the top 2% or 1%, whatever it is. And it's been like that so long. We just come to accept the fact that those people are rich. The law don't want to apply to them.
Right.
They can do what they want.
And we'll just fight each other.
And we'll just deal with each other and argue back and forth. The fact that he's using Madden ratings and his kids are doing it, I think I read the article, and the article talked about how, the GM and some of the scouts in the front office said, we are literally reporting to 13 and 14-year-old kids. And
yes.
And so and when you think of it, why would any owner operate their business like any different from any other billionaire owner? It's just, like you said, it just so happens to be a sports team. But for us, that sports team has some sort of meaning and value, and we wrap our identity into that brand. But what we don't understand is at the top of the food chain, because they don't talk to us and they're an echo chamber, they don't care about you. This is they got money. 100%. Like, when is the last time a billionaire was like, oh yeah, like, let's come up with something smart to do? They believe that they're a billionaire because it is their birthright. They are special because they have been enduring this money. You or the GM or the coach or the player, that's nothing. Because if you were as good as me, you'd be a billionaire too, but you're not. So why would I listen to you? So when people get mad and go crazy about what these owners be doing, I've been like, have you met a rich person? Have you met a rich person that do those rich people that go into restaurants and routinely treat service people bad?
Yeah.
Or their kids have fits on airplanes? Do you think those are the people that really care that you're upset that they're losing games?
They don't care.
They don't care at all. You don't exist. That check will come in regardless.
There was another part of that article, G, that the Jets ended up signing guard John Simpson this offseason. In the discussions on whether they should or shouldn't, Woody Johnson, the Jets owner, his two teenage sons told them they were concerned about Simpson because he had a low awareness rating on Madden. Yeah. And this is another excerpt from the article.
By the way, isn't Woody Johnson like 80?
He is old.
Yeah.
And he has teenage sons?
And
real quick,
go ahead.
Read this little excerpt because this shows just the dysfunction.
Yeah.
This is another quote from the article by Mike Silver, Zach Rosenblatt, and Diana Rossini from The Athletic. Quote, when we're discussing things, you'll hear Woody cite something that Brick or Jack read online. Those are his two teenage sons. That's being weighed equally against whatever opinion someone else in the department has. When I say equal, I mean equal, end quote.
Oh, my God. But I'm not surprised by this at all. You're not buying what they're selling. What do you think? They made up the whole thing?
It can't be that bad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it can be.
It can't be that bad.
Oh, yeah.
So let me get this right.
Oh yeah.
So let me paint this and tell me if I'm hearing this correctly. So you're telling me this man for the Jets, this owner, has a bunch of employees that he pays a nice salary to.
Yeah.
And he takes the advice from his kids.
That's what the article says.
That's
I have
what
every
you're
reason to believe
insinuating to me right now.
I'm not insinuating.
You're insinuating to me
that's what
that this man pays millions of dollars to employees that he hired. He's got a whole staff. And when it's time to make a decision, he listens to none of them. He listens to his kids, who's teenagers, that plays a video
I
game.
can believe that.
Yeah.
100%.
What are we talking about right now? What? So basically, if I'm with the Jets, it's not about winning Super Bowls, being great, none of that. It's just I'm just getting the check.
No.
I just want my money.
He always says not every team's trying to really win.
What is this about? Why would I want to play for the Jets?
It mess your worldview up, don't
It
it?
really do, though.
Santa Claus.
What are you talking about right now? So if I go to the Jets, in my mind, I'm just here to get paid. I'm not here to win nothing. I'm just here to get paid.
Yes.
That doesn't mean the coaches and the players don't want to win, but
He ain't looking at it like that.
But how many owners?
It starts with the top.
Honestly, how many owners between baseball, football, and basketball? This is 100 owners, 90-something owners. How many of them really is winning the first priority? I don't know that it's that many, so it's kind of even.
Maybe 5%.
Well, I want to be with an organization that's part of that 5%.
Yeah.
Because it ain't just about the money. It's
Obviously, they all want to win,
greatness.
but it's not the first priority. I don't think for
That's
most of them.
terrible. Well, what do you have it
Now, to
for?
be fair, I don't know this for a fact. This is just my opinion.
Well, the whole purpose is one of those things that, and I'm not a billionaire. I'm not a billionaire. I hope to be
you playing one on TV?
I hope to be one day. Now, you know what I'm saying? I get the right. I talk to the right people. I make the right investments. You know, I ain't doing no shady stuff, but I make the right stuff. You know what I'm saying?
You're never gonna be a billionaire.
Bam!
Yeah,
you might look up one day.
You gotta get you a sweatshop.
I might look up
somewhere.
one day and I might have a Billy,
right.
but you'll never know because I'm gonna still be just like this. But anyways, I would hire people that knows football. Like if I'm a billionaire and I don't really know football, but I wanted a football team, obviously I'm gonna hire the guys. It's about trust, really, is what it is. I'm gonna hire the guys that I trust to put my team in the right situation, and I'm gonna stay out of it. Do your thing.
But here's the problem, Tyvus. These guys who have been rich, super rich their whole lives, nobody ever tells them no. Nobody ever pushes back on them.
Why?
I'm generalizing.
Why not?
Tyvus, what fun is it to be a billionaire and stay out of it?
Yeah, right.
You get all the credit when you win.
They want those people again feel that they are the smartest people in the world because I have what I got. So therefore, why would I hire you to tell me what to do? I need you for some assistance or some things because I don't feel like doing that. But at the end of the day, I feel like I'm just as qualified as you because you ever see a lot of people that don't respect people who do something at a high level? Like, people will come to you and they'll say, oh, you're an idiot. You don't know anything about that. You do these 4-hour shows, you're not that smart, you don't know anything. But if you put them in front of a microphone and said, talk for 4 hours,
They couldn't talk for 4
without
minutes.
losing their mind, they would be like, oh, this is a little bit more difficult than I thought.
Yeah.
There's no better example. We're going to talk Cavs in a sec, but there's no better example than Robert Kraft, who just put out an entire hit piece documentary on Bill Belichick to make it look like he had a bigger influence and a bigger
Facts.
part of the 6 championships the Patriots won.
Facts.
Because he hired Bill Belichick. And he was a good owner. He didn't meddle. He let Belichick do all his stuff. But now he's mad that he doesn't get the credit for that. And he put out I don't know if you guys watched the Patriots Apple documentary.
No.
It was
Who cares?
a straight hit piece on Belichick. He tried to make it seem like
Isn't
Robert
this
Kraft
whole
did.
isn't this whole thing about making more money?
Who was that dude? Who was the
If
dude?
my team is winning, more people's coming to support my team, more people's buying stuff, I'm making more money.
It's the credit.
Who cares about the credit?
That's what we
You
live
say that
for.
now, Tyvus?
I mean, I work.
of how
I'm
these
like that
systems
now. I
operate.
don't care about no credit.
If you
That's
got
because
all,
you're a humble, down to earth.
Who cares about credit?
I can't believe I just called Tyvus humble.
if you have all the money, Tyvus, what's the only other thing that you can get? Clout.
That's
right.
I got clout because
They
I got
want
money.
power.
No. Everybody at that level, you got to think about it, Tyvus.
They say money equals power.
But if you all, if they all,
so if I got power, I got the clout.
If they all,
I hired you. What are you talking
I'm
about?
the
That is my clout.
I'm talking about the highest level. So if you got two owners, right? Mm-hmm. If you got Jerry Jones and Robert Kraft,
Okay.
how do they sword fight with one another? Money being equal, how do I say I'm better than you?
Right.
It's the clout.
My team
But
is
I
more
think I would.
successful.
I
And
think
I'm gonna
mo-
take credit for
Don't
that.
you think though most fans would say Robert Kraft is a better owner than Jerry Jones, even though Jerry Jones is in the headlines more?
But
Yes.
Robert Kraft don't feel like he a better owner than
I
Jerry
guess.
Jones because he writing hit pieces.
And that's the point.
That's the point.
Right. He hit
All right, let's get into some Cleveland more specific topics. We're gonna talk some Cavs, guys. It's that time of the year though. The college football playoff is back, and with the newly expanded 12-team format, it's guaranteed to be bigger and better than ever before, bringing you all the hard-hitting and high-flying excitement that you love. TNT Sports coverage of the college football playoff begins on December 21st, starting with the college football playoff kickoff show presented by AT&T at 11 a.m., leading into the first matchup between SMU and Penn State. Then the Clemson Tigers look to upset the Texas Longhorns in a showdown at 4 p.m. Don't miss a moment of the action. Watch the college football playoff presented by Allstate live on TNT, True TV, TBS, and Max. All right, guys, we're going to talk a little Cavs here. For the sake of this discussion,
Yeah,
we're going to assume Donovan Mitchell is being voted in as an all-star starter.
that's pretty obvious, no?
Actually, maybe not.
Oh, because it's based on voting.
It's based off purely fan vote, and right
But
now,
we know Donovan Mitchell's going to be in the
Yes.
All-Star game, 100%.
the question today is who has a better chance to be the Cavs' second all-star?
Yeah.
Darius Garland or Evan Mobley? And for the sake of this discussion, just so
Yeah.
we can eliminate these other people out of the equation who they're battling for those spots against, the 5 all-star starters that will be voted in by the fans, for today at least, Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Brunson, Giannis, Tatum, and Karl Anthony Towns. So you can take them out of the
Yeah.
equation. Between Darius and Evan, who do you think has a better shot to be the Cavs' second all-star?
Now, I don't know enough about who's competing for these spots, so maybe my answer is going to be wrong based on that. But as someone who has watched all but 2 or 3 games of the Cavs this year, to me it's a no-brainer. It's
Yeah.
Evan Mobley.
Yeah.
Evan Mobley is playing like an all-star. Darius Garland, to me, is playing well, and plus I just know in general there's so many good guards. But Evan Mobley as a center or whatever, I know the positions are so fluid these days. You never
It's
know
just
what's
bigs
going
now in the all-star game.
Big?
It's bigs and guards.
on. Okay. I can't imagine there's many bigs playing better than Evan Mobley. And if you, again, I'm not a basketball aficionado. I don't claim to be an expert. But I know enough to know when a guy is playing like an all-star. And Evan Mobley and Darius Garland, while playing well, and maybe he deserves to be an all-star too, is not playing at the level, in my opinion, of Evan Mobley. I think it's clear that it's Evan Mobley.
Yeah, it's clear. Just for the simple fact that you got guys like Trae Young. Trae Young is going to make the All-Star team. Like, it just is what it is. You got guys like Damian Lillard. He's going to make the All-Star team. It is just what it is. Like, there's a lot of guards out there that people, just by name brand recognition and the fact that their numbers is what they are. Look at that. He's getting 26 a game, and it's Dame Dollar. He got a nickname.
Right.
If you ain't got no nickname, it's going to be tough for you.
Yep.
Unless you get DG, don't count them as your
Mobley
initials.
ain't got one.
But that's a big though. See what I'm saying? There's difference. Bigs is like, oh, and you know how they like to go with bigs? The way they say it is, oh, unicorn status. If you can dribble, you can pass, you can shoot threes. Like Jared Allen, he's a big, he's not getting in.
Don't we need to come up with a nickname for Evan Mobley?
No,
No, you don't think so?
because he won't embrace it. Evan Mobley's personality is just like,
That's
He
fair.
won't embrace
he won't
it.
embrace it. I need you to be saying that like 3 times a day, like so people. it
I'm
sticks.
willing, if we come up with a good one, I'm willing to,
What,
hype it up.
hey, chat, come up with one. Hit us up
We
in the
need
chat.
to-
Let us know.
Nickname for Mobley.
Nickname for Mobley. Come up with something.
Do you guys ever go on Pro Basketball Reference and look at the nicknames listed?
Yes, all the time.
Evan Mobley's nickname, he actually does not have a nickname on Pro Basketball
That's
Reference.
crazy. That means you definitely don't got
Yeah, we
one.
have to come up with a nickname for Evan Mobley.
Yeah, we could make something stick here.
I mean,
EP Steve, keep a look on the chat and send us the best nicknames you see in the chat for Evan Mobley.
Yeah, we need some good ones there.
but no, Mobley,
Yeah.
Mobley that hit them threes. I think now is the year where, like, it's a situation now where Mobley has gotten to a point where he's hit that thing where the media just says, "Oh, he's in the club."
That's right.
He's
That's
in the
what
club.
it feels like.
Like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and we can't tell you when they say you're in the club, but when they put you in the club, you're always mentioned. Even if you have a bad year, they'll be like, It was just a down year, Tyvus.
Right,
He's in a club. You know how Giannis got there. Giannis was a nice story at first.
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't. Listen, he was not,
Giannis was that deal since he came into the
That is
league.
completely. He wasn't any good for 3 years.
and then they put him in the club, and it was like,
Giannis
oh,
been that
Giannis is Team Giannis. Like, they put him in the club.
Giannis been that deal since Jason Kidd was the coach. I don't know what y'all talking about.
Man, this guy.
Jay Kidd was the one that saw it first. After me, actually. I saw it first, and I told Jay
then
Kidd.
Jay Kidd.
Yeah.
And then Giannis himself came to the realization.
What
he
you think?
embraced it.
What you think they doing with Evan right now? They're trying to get him to turn into a Giannis, trying to put the ball in his
maybe a Giannis
hands.
that can shoot.
Maybe, yeah. That's basically what they're doing. They're trying to put the ball in his hands, make him facilitate now. You know what I'm saying? Giannis paved the way. Y'all better
So
pay
who you go?
homage. I mean, obviously, I think Mobley would be the correct answer here. I'm trying to figure out. I don't want us to have just a sweep on the panel that it's just Mobley. So
Maybe Mike disagrees.
I'm going to go with Darius Garland because, one, that's my favorite player on the Cavaliers. Two, I think that Darius has done some things this season where I think he's more consistent than a lot of guards is. I think that when you see him, he's going to be a 20-7, 20-8 type of guy. Those numbers are pretty darn good for the PG position this year. I feel like it ain't really a lot of point guards that's really standing out like that this year. Obviously, Trae Young is the one that comes to mind, but for the most part, the PG position hasn't been like, I feel like Tyrese Halliburton has taken a step back this year. I think a lot of point guards have taken a step back. So for me, I think him being a guy that can be, let's see, 1B. Like when you think about the Cavs, you think about right now, you still think about Donovan and Darius. I think with that and what he's doing, he can get in. I think the fans could vote him in. And the simple fact that the fans are voting, I think that could get him in also.
It's going to hurt him. You know what's going to hurt him?
The fan vote's only
LaMelo
for the starters,
Ball.
Ty.
You know the fans love LaMelo Ball.
They do love LaMelo Ball.
And McNuggets loves LaMelo Ball.
I mean, LaMelo Ball.
I don't like LaMelo.
LaMelo Ball he's been hurt though. He's been in and out of the lineup.
19 games.
Yeah, he's been in and out of the lineup.
I thought you had to play a certain amount of games to be an All-Star, right?
No, that's just
No.
the MVP.
But his PER is like 21.68.
Are you making a case for Garland, Mike?
Who's all in the East?
No,
Obvious.
well, here, I got the numbers for everybody. And
Okay.
I'm glad that at least one of you guys on the panel is right. And two of you guys are overly abundantly right, and it's Evan Mobley, and I'm going to tell you guys why. Evan Mobley's the right answer here.
Yeah.
First off, Bull, you said it without doing the research, so good for you for lucking into this answer.
Yeah.
The competition for the guard spots in the East
Right.
is a gauntlet. The competition for the big spots in the East, he's having an MVP season by himself.
Did you just strip me of my medals? I was the one who said that. He stripped me.
I thought Bull said I didn't do the
Marion
research.
I
Jones.
didn't say it first, even though I admitted I did no research on it.
Okay, I'll give you half credit. I'll give you half a sack.
Well, I think
on
you
that.
guys are both right. We're going to run through,
half a
Steve.
sack.
If you want to start at a 363,
This
I'll
is
tell you when to take
sad.
it. But we're gonna
Y'all
run through
just
some of
like
the
them
other-
owners, clout chasing.
Yeah, we're clout chasing.
So we're going to run through some of the bigs that Mobley be in competition with.
Yeah.
And then we're going to run through the guards, and we'll be able to kind of see the differentiation. Both guys are having all-star caliber seasons for the record. It's not a knock on either. They're both playing up to. But remember, they only get 12 all-star spots. 5 are voted in by the fans. The other 7 are picked by the coaching staff, and that plays into it. So these
You know
are
what's
the
funny,
other,
though? We spent all this time talking about the All-Star game, and the All-Star game is terrible.
Yes.
What's the new format? They're doing another new format
Yeah,
this
it's
year?
8 versus 8 versus 8 versus the Rising Stars champion.
That's terrible.
It's like King of the Hill. It's stupid. It's incredibly stupid.
That might. All right, we'll talk about that later. Get your money
They
off,
need-
and then
they
we'll
They're
need
come
trying
back.
to come up with a way to make these guys actually play.
This is not-
Three
this is
on
not
three
gonna-
tournament.
This is not going to help it.
One-on-one tournament.
No.
Something like
So
that.
these are
No
the
three-pointers in the All-Star game.
these are the bigs that Mobley could be in contention with in terms of getting that not starting but backup big spot. You got Pascal Siakam. The Cavs are at a better team. He doesn't score as much, doesn't take as many shots. Essentially the same field goal percentage, a better rebounder, better defender, fewer assists, but very different position. Mobley gets the nod over Siakam.
The only
I
way
don't
you
think
could take a
it's-
big guy over Mobley is if he's overwhelmingly better, because the Cavs are the best team in the league. You know?
It's almost a cheat code. You can't.
Well, but that's not always exactly how it works.
But the coaches do
Sure,
vote,
but-
right?
Not always exactly how it works.
But the coaches usually vote, and the coaches usually vote like based on records. Like I remember the Hawks got 4 All-Stars one year.
Yeah, but that was a down year. That was all like
Right, but-
Kyle Korver doesn't make that in a year. where
Fair,
there's other
but I'll
Okay.
say this, Mike. the Cavs, even though they had a good record last year, nobody took them seriously as a contender.
Nope.
And people are now. We'll see if they end up being when it comes to playoff time, but everybody's taking the Cavs seriously in the NBA right now.
Yeah.
And the biggest reason why, in terms of the players, is Evan Mobley, without a doubt.
I'm making the case for Evan Mobley. I'm telling you.
Go
I'm with
ahead.
you guys here.
Yeah.
Next one, Bam, who's been a perennial All-Star before. He's having a bad season.
Real bad.
He can't make a layup this year, which is crazy. His field goal and
Why are you
three-point
even putting him on
percentages
there
are
then?
Because he got a name?
because he's got a name. I'm just giving you other guys that in the All-Star. This
I
isn't
can't
even
put a guy
close.
named Bam on the
Mobley
All-Star team. That's not
destroys him. You go to Jalen Johnson on Atlanta,
Yeah.
who has actually been super effective against the Cavs this year. His numbers on paper, 20 points, 10 rebounds, 5.5 assists, one of just two guys in the league. I know he's 19.6, but I rounded up. One of two guys in the league averaging 20, 10, and 5 with Jokic. So he's having an incredible season.
Yeah.
Mobley brings a ton more on the defensive end.
Right.
The Hawks a little upstart. I'd be surprised if Atlanta got 2 All-Stars and Trae Young's going to be an All-Star.
And you know
But
what
that's
messes-
at least a conversation.
You know what messes Jalen up? He got too common of a name. There's too many Jalen's in the league.
That's right. And
Jalen
Johnson
Green,
also.
Jalen Suggs, Jalen Johnson,
Jalen Brunson.
That's a very
Jalen
generic
Brunson.
name. That's a
he's
very generic.
Yeah, so I don't even know who he is. Keep going.
And then one other big,
Yeah.
just based off the numbers, his team is not very good, but Nikola Vucevic of the Chicago Bulls is having an incredibly efficient offensive season,
He's
shooting
playing well.
48%
Nice, he
from
be
3
hitting
on
them
legitimate
Trae.
volume.
He's balling.
I don't think the Bulls will get an All-Star.
That's embarrassing.
But, what?
You can't put a guy on this terrible team in the All-Star game.
Well, wait till you see who's going to make the All-Star team.
I mean, unless he's an absolute superstar.
I'm just telling you, wait till
he's having
a
the
great
best
season.
year of his
He's having a
life.
great season.
I know, but it's on a bad team. There's no pressure. Fair?
Bad. LaMelo Ball is going to be an All-Star. The Hornets
Facts.
are terrible.
But he probably shouldn't. But his numbers are
yeah,
overwhelming.
we're gonna get to the guards next. But and Cade Cunningham's going to be an All-Star. His team stinks.
he really?
Yeah, he's having a great freaking
And
season.
by the way, you're giving all this credit to JB. What, didn't Cade Cunningham miss the whole season last year?
I think he missed a decent
played.
amount. I'm not sure if it's the whole season.
He tore his ACL the year before.
Yeah, he
missed
did
a
miss
lot
a
of
full
the
season. I don't think he missed all of last
right.
year. Let's go to the guards now, Steve. You go up to 357. This is where the competition for the guard spots is really tough. We'll start with LaMelo, as we mentioned. Yes, the Hornets stink, Bull. Yes, they stink.
Yeah, but those numbers are outrageous.
Hey, he's out of here. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I
30
mean, the shooting percentage is not very good.
Ridiculous.
but he's averaging 37. Is that
I know,
LeBron?
But that's not the same. Vucevic or whatever the hell his name is. He's not putting up those
I'm
kind of
just
numbers.
giving you other names
Hey!
in consideration. Hey,
I'm
Pizone,
walking here.
chill out. I'm watching The Sopranos. I'm
Look,
gonna whack on you.
that right there, 30. I didn't know he was balling like that. I would have said 25, but he getting 37 and 6.
I just can't. It's not fair to them because they did nothing, but I don't like the Ball brothers because I don't like the dad.
See,
I'm anti-Ball brothers.
You don't like LeVar?
Oh, he's such
LeVar?
a douche.
Hey, man, he
He
did all.
just was hyping
But
his
he got all
sons.
his kids. Yeah, no, it was all about him.
Hey,
Oh my goodness!
his kids.
He hyped his kids up in the first
all
round
of them
picks.
at least
Except
played in the league at one
Yeah.
point in time. They didn't go to jail, and
I thought
they
the
didn't
middle
shoot
one
nobody.
did go to jail.
I think Jello.
He actually
He
did.
the one
think
that's
he may have
no.
been
How
Yeah.
many
That's
are
the
still
that's the
playing?
one
Two?
Trump got out of.
Two or three.
Yeah,
The oldest one doesn't play, right?
No, the middle
Middle one.
Jello's-
the middle one.
That was hilarious. I forgot about that. Trump did say, I got him out of jail. I loved when he said that, though, by the way. I got your
this-
son out of jail, buddy.
This next guy is interesting. I don't like how he plays. He's playing much better this year. Trae Young, who can't buy a bucket but leads the NBA in assists. The Hawks are surprising. They're not the
I mean,
same
how is that an
level of the Cavs.
all-star?
What do you mean?
All he does is
21
get
and-
assists, not good at anything
21
else.
and 12.
21 and 12 is crazy.
There's like 50 guys that score 20 points
And
a
he
game.
gets 4 rebounds a game for a guard.
21 and
Look what
12.
he's shooting. Of course he's going to score 21 a game.
21 and
don't-
12.
I can score 21 a game. Shoot.
No.
All right, next up is
Wait,
Dame.
Mike, don't you agree? He's
I
gonna be
don't
an
listen.
all-star?
I don't like Trae Young. You're not trying to sell me on that.
So you're with me?
No.
I would pick Darius over Trae for the
I
All-Star
would
game,
too.
yes.
Stop.
Trae
All right,
Young's a
next
bum.
up, Dame Lillard, who we mentioned earlier, averaging 26 points per game, 7 assists. He has the name brand recognition. I think DG's gonna have a hard time getting the nod over Dame.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
Next, Cade Cunningham, who is averaging 24, 10, and 8.
Oh, that's a wrap, too.
Stop rounding up, will you?
No, that's legit
23,
round.
9.7, and
That's good.
7.5.
I mean, they suck though, but
That's 24.
I put him in over Trae Young.
I would too. And then last but not least, you have Jaylen Brown, who has the reputation with
Jalen
Boston.
Brown,
He's averaging 23.8. I won't round up, 4.6, and 6 rebounds on the dot. So my point is, Darius has a much tougher path
it's gonna be tough.
getting one of the guard spots. Mobley is having a very good season, and just the competition at that position is way lighter.
I think Mobley gets in, and Garland probably doesn't.
So break this down. How does the vote go? So obviously it's the fan vote. There's the coaches.
Starters.
There's for the starters, and then what's the rest?
The coach picks the rest? Or
Unless they've changed it, which I don't think they have. The coaching staff picks the rest.
But wait a second.
I thought last year they had like another thing in there, like where it was a mix between the vote and the coaches.
Who's
or something
leading?
Like that.
Who's leading the votes for fans?
Doesn't the coach? Doesn't Atkinson? Isn't he going to be the All-Star coach if they're in first place?
No, it's the NBA Finals team from last year.
Okay.
Unless they made it back-to-back years, which the Celtics made it back-to-back years.
Yes.
Then it's whatever.
No, they didn't. They won against the Warriors, and then the year prior
They lost to the Warriors.
Then there was the Heat and the Nuggets.
Yeah, it was the Heat. So it'll be Missoula, the Celtics staff.
Definitely. And
So Jaylen Brown's a lock.
And Drew Holiday is on the team too.
And maybe Drew Holiday. Oh, you know what, G? No, so the reserves are all picked by the head coach. The 5 starters have changed. It's not strictly fan vote anymore. It's 50% fan vote, 50% current NBA player vote, and 50% fan vote, 25% NBA player vote, 25% media vote.
Well, that's for the starters.
But the reserves
So
are
who's
still
leading
the head
the
coach.
fan voting right now? Do you know?
They've only put out the leading person at each position.
Yeah, it's early.
Currently, Dame Lillard's the leading guard, Giannis is the leading forward, and Cat's the leading center.
Dame Dalla. You said who is the leading forward?
Next topic.
It's gonna be hard for Dame. It's gonna be hard because the Celtics are gonna get 3, and they might try to sneak.
Is hilarious.
I don't think they got anybody else they could put
Fan
in.
voting, I got to give credit to baseball fans. It's the only sport where the fans do a decent job of the voting. In basketball and football, the fans pretty much do an awful job. But the players would be even worse. I mean, the players don't know what the hell they're doing.
They got the fans got the forward part right now.
Why? Giannis, is he playing that great this year?
Giannis?
Yeah.
He's having his best season of his career.
Having his best season, Times. I told you that. All right. Keep it moving, Mike.
All right, let's get on to our next Cavs
We talking
topic.
about
I will be
architects
very
yet?
upset if Social News Desk doesn't work for us in a sec because I have something I want to show you guys. And hopefully it adjusts while I'm doing this read. But Hillsdale College is the sponsor of our next topic. Time is our most precious commodity, so don't waste it scrolling through the same mind-numbing content for hours and hours. How can you spend it more wisely to improve yourself? Well, our sponsor, Hillsdale College, is offering more than 40 free online courses, including Constitution 101, the meaning and history of the Constitution, Introduction to Free Market Economics, the rise and fall of the Roman Republic. All of Hillsdale's courses are self-paced, so you can start whenever, tune in wherever you want. Plus, you can go deeper with readings, quizzes, discussions, or just enjoy the lectures. Go right now to hillsdale.edu/lockedon to enroll. There's no cost. It's easy to get started. That is hillsdale.edu/lockedon to register. hillsdale.edu/lockedon. So we have talked at length over the last couple years about Isaac Okoro and his three-point shot.
Sure.
This season, Isaac Okoro is currently second in the NBA. Steve, you want to take 351.
Is there a minimum amount of shots?
Yes.
To be? Okay.
I eliminated anyone who takes fewer than 2.5 three-point attempts per game.
Okay.
And if you do that, look at this chart. 2 of the top 4 are Cavs, and number 2 is Isaac Okoro, who's hitting 49.2% of his threes this season. He's averaging 2.7 three-point attempts. That is the lowest of all 5 guys in the top 5.
Convenient that you put 2.5 as the dividing line.
Well, I make the graphics. I decide what the dividing line is. Are you guys buying the fact that Isaac Okoro might be a legitimate three-point shooter now, or are you still under the impression that come playoff time, teams are going to leave him wide-ass open?
Option B. Listen, this is the thing. This is the thing about Isaac. Isaac has pulled this same stunt for the past 2 years.
That is correct.
Until we, in the words of Bull, the regular season is meaningless. Until I see you hit them wide open shots in the playoffs, You could be 100%. I ain't buying it until I see you in the playoffs. That's just what it is. He literally does this every single season. Where it's like, man, you know what? Isaac can actually score on offense. He looks good offensively. He can hit wide open shots. Last year, he was like leading the Cavs in most wide open shots, 3-point percentage, and all these things. And we're like, you know what? Playoff times is going to be great. And Houdini is what happens.
He has a stretch of 30 games every year where he
Fool me once, shame on you.
Fool me twice, you can't fool me again.
You buying it?
Listen, man, how old is Isaac Okoro?
How old is Isaac?
He's like 26.
Isaac, no, he's not that. He's like 23. Yeah, 23 years old.
He's
24 next month.
He's 24. When did he get into the league?
This is his 4th season.
4th season. I believe it.
No, this is 5th season. Excuse me, 5th season.
I believe it. You know, I believe it. He couldn't shoot.
Make the drink. Well, make the Kool-Aid then.
He couldn't shoot, period, in high school and college. He got into the league, right? He played under, I won't say he wanted to play under Mike Brown, but he played under JB. And JB was like, yeah.
All right, the headline is G. Bush thinks all black coaches look alike.
You think about it, you do have to be bald and medium toned. It might be. It might be cousins. But no, listen, what you look at is Isaac Okoro couldn't shoot in college. They asked him to play defense, and he was like a kind of a throwaway. But if you take a look at his age, right, and now that he's like, okay, he came to the conclusion that, look, man, I'm going to have to shoot threes or I'm not going to be in the league like that. The league kind of changed on him like, yeah, it was nice to have somebody that would D up and basically hit a couple of threes, but not no more. Prerequisite to play on the court is you have to shoot threes. Your defense, you can give us that, but what's going to keep you on the court is if you can shoot or not. And in years past, he shoot well in the preseason, shoot well during the season, and then come to the playoffs, they leave him he's shooting bricks. The reason it's different now is because he got that deal. And I think for him, when he got that contract, he stopped looking over his shoulder. Because every trade that was mentioned, it was Isaac Okoro. Every single move that the Cavs could have where they want to cut salaries, it was Isaac Okoro. And he got a deal on an offseason where basically they brought everybody back. So for me, I think it took the pressure off of him like, well, at least I got that second contract. And McNuggets knows this. For the NBA players, rookie deals is cool, but it's all about that second deal. That first deal,
that's every sport.
That first deal is cool. You're gonna get a little chunk of change, but more and more, especially lottery picks, people will have you in a system for 2-3 years and be like, all of a sudden you're in the G League or overseas.
Right.
So Isaac Okoro, I believe, was the main candidate for one of them overseas jobs. And guess what he did? He's like, I'm gonna lock in and I'm gonna shoot the ball. And now that he got a little job security and he knows he's going to be there, he knows he can lean his hat on defense, I think right now he just concentrated on shooting threes and he's shooting confident.
So to answer that question on the ticker there, saying yes.
Yes, he can shoot threes.
No, that's not the question.
What is it?
Will the teams respect Isaac Okoro's 3-point shot in the playoffs?
No.
That's okay.
But here's what I'm saying is, but they should though.
Okay.
Because
if that's the case, then eventually they'll cover him and it'll make other things,
open.
other shots easier.
Because maybe it's me. I'll be watching. Yeah. I don't see him miss that all that often.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't because he's hitting almost 50%.
And it'll be shot, and it's not like they wide open. I've seen Isaac Okoro. I seen them swing it to him. He swing it back, and they're like, no, swing it back to you and hit him in a jumper. You feeling good when you start fading away out of bounds and you start tripping over people and looking and talking to the bench on the way back on the opposing bench. Yeah, that's
Isaac
good.
Okoro did that?
Isaac Okoro in that corner always do that. Watch him next time. Him and George Niang is classic for it.
I'm with Tyvus on this. Yeah, you could say he has more confidence right now, but I felt the same thing when he went through a hot stretch last year. I was like, okay, and then he disappeared again in the playoffs. So I hope this is the year where the confidence is real.
I do too.
You make the case of the contract. Okay, there's something to it. The team is better overall. They seem to believe in him more. So maybe that will all come together. But for me, like Tyvus said, that's half of this is he's given us this false hope 2 years in a row. Plus, if he were that confident and feeling that good, he'd be shooting more than 2.7 threes a game.
So can I give you some? I'm actually not going to comment on it. I'm going to give you numbers. I want to see how it changes. Well, I'll chime in at the end, but I want to give you some.
The basketball guru?
No. I want to give you numbers to see what you think when I
right.
give you some advanced numbers, and then we'll come back and I'll give you my two thoughts, and we'll go to the Guardians next. Of his 2.7 3-point attempts per game, remember 2.7 is the number.
Yeah.
2.3, according to NBA tracking data, are considered wide open, which means there's not a defender within 6 feet or more of him.
Right.
So 2.3 of his 2.7 3-point attempts per game come in the wide open category.
Yeah.
0.3 come in the open category, which is 4 to 6 feet of space between the closest defender. And then 0.1% of his threes come within
So he's
a tight
not shooting
defender.
at all when he's contested.
His percentages based on each. He actually does not have a percentage on the considered tight because he hasn't taken enough to qualify.
No.
He's shooting 12.5% on what's considered open threes, which is 4 to 6 feet of defense, or to the closest defender. He's shooting 55% on wide open threes. Does that change any of your thoughts in how you look at Isaac Okoro?
Backs up, I think, kind of what I was thinking.
No, because what I'm seeing is Donovan Mitchell. So if you compare and contrast, I'll be eager to see what because Donovan Mitchell on his 3-point shots, he ain't never open. Them ain't contested and step backs.
Very rarely
and so if he's taking contested step backs, and Darius Garland ain't never really open, he taking step backs.
Yeah.
Then somebody got to be open, right?
Yeah, I mean, Evan Mobley, I would bet a lot of his threes are pretty wide open.
Somebody got to be open.
So
Yeah.
if we're answering the question that's on the ticker, the answer would be, I think in game 1, 2, 3, no, they will not respect his 3-point shot.
And he gonna be wide open.
And if he makes them,
Right.
then I think
Right.
respect,
And then he'll stop taking them.
Maybe they won't leave him wide
Which
open.
would be good. He won't take the shot, and he'll move the ball. But at least he'll have to be accounted for if that happens.
Yes. And you can't load up on the rest of the two guards.
I still don't think – I think Tyvus is right, though. In the first few games, they will leave him wide open and
Yes.
force him to take those shots.
Okay. So and I
And
love
it seems like he can knock him down.
Well,
he's
if
wide
I
open.
remember correctly, game 1 against, I think it's Orlando, because they played Orlando in the first round.
Yep.
He hit like two threes, and I said, we rolling.
Yeah.
And then it
Went downhill from there for him.
but you got to look at it this way. Donovan Mitchell was hobbled. Darius Garland.
not in game 1 of Orlando.
But I'm just saying, if you look at throughout the series, as games went on, Donovan Mitchell wore down and became less effective.
Yeah.
You look at Jared Allen missed multiple games, and then you talk about Darius Garland couldn't hit a shot. So obviously Isaac Okoro, they're like, they're going to be more attention to him. You don't have to double anybody. You can just play straight up.
This is totally out of left field. But if you got a chance to hang out for a full day with one member of the Cavs, who would you pick?
if I got to hang out with them for one day.
It's easy.
Is Donovan Mitchell still with Coco Jones?
I have no
Yes.
idea.
Yes.
Yes.
Donovan Mitchell.
That's creep.
Just so you could creep on his wife?
That's
Not his wife.
That's
girlfriend?
creep. That's
I'm not
creep.
gonna creep on her. I just want to meet her. I'm married. I'm married. I just want to say hey.
You just want to say hi?
Yeah, I just want to say hi.
All right.
You can say hi by DM or something.
No. You know, I like to.
who you
I
hang
like to
with.
look people in the eye.
This is. Let me see. Member of the Cavs. Let me see. Oh, this is easy.
Yeah.
This is easy, and I don't know why y'all wouldn't say the same
Yeah.
thing, especially if it's the off season.
Yeah.
Hey, where's Tristan Thompson at? I'm messing with T-Top all day. Like, listen.
You want to go see the Kardashians?
Man, I'm going to see. He's seeing everybody. He's seeing the Kardashians, all the
Your
people.
wife ain't gonna let you hang out with him.
Probably not.
That's true.
She would probably say you can hang out with Evan Mobley or Darius Garland, and then we'll be doing sign language to each other because neither one of them talk. Give me Tristan Thompson.
Your wife ain't gonna let that happen, so pick somebody else.
Yeah, man. I'm definitely trying to kick it. Who else? If she was like, you can't hang out with them,
She ain't gonna let you.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to look. No.
Ain't none of our wives gonna let us hang out with Tristan Thompson. I'm just telling you that now.
That's crazy.
I'm hanging with Jared Allen.
You would have fun
what?
with Jared Allen. Jared Allen or George Niang are the two you
I
just
feel like he'd be fun to hang. I'm not a partier.
Bro, he's going to hang out with Aaron, not you.
That's actually true, yeah.
They're going to watch cartoons, and you're like, hey, Jared, let's watch this. He's like, no, I'm having fun over here.
I don't know. I think he'd be fun to hang with. Go ahead.
My 2 cents on the Isaac situation, then we'll move on. They will not guard him until he makes it in the playoffs.
Yeah, right.
Like, until they actually choose he can make it in the playoffs, they're going to leave him wide open.
What is Mobley's percent? Is he taking most shots wide open?
So he's taking 2.2 threes per game. 1.2 of the 2.2 are considered wide open.
That's a little.
0.8 are considered just open, and 0.2 are considered tight/very tight.
What about Donovan Mitchell? Is all his shots contested? Because it seemed like they are.
Based on those numbers, I can't imagine they are. It seems like
Donovan Mitchell. Give
Yeah.
me 1 sec. I got to click one button. I got to go to the shot profile.
This
right.
man takes them step backs is definitely not wide open.
I want to know what McNuggets percentages would be in college at Emerson when he was wide open versus just
he
wide-
wasn't making shots with a defender in his face.
Yeah, wide open was the
Yeah.
more. Donovan takes 2.4 threes per game in the wide open category, 5 threes per game in the open category, and 1.8 threes per game in the
Wow,
tight/very
that's much
tight.
higher.
So yeah, you can see the difference.
He's taking like 7 and change
with people in his face.
with at least some coverage.
Does that mean you got the green light when the highest people with the contested shots? Does that mean they got the green light?
Yeah, and a lot of that's catch and shoot at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little Guardians, guys. By the way, Bold does the Ultimate Guardian show with Zach every week. It's coming back
Well,
soon.
not every week, but
but it's coming
during
back
the
soon.
season
It'll
every
be
week.
more
Yeah, we'll do a
weekly
show right
in,
after the new year.
Yeah, so we'll get that. Make sure you tune into that for all your Guardians knowledge. But this was a topic, Guardians related, that I didn't think we needed Zach to chime in on. If you guys didn't see, I missed this earlier in the week. Bad job out of me because I missed it. This is not last night. This was when they traded Andres Jimenez. But the Blue Jays announced the trade on Instagram. And Steve, if you want to take this full, this was Jose Ramirez's response to the trade. I don't know if you could see it on your screen, but it is about 10 facepalm emojis to the trade. We obviously know Jimenez and Jose were friends on the Guardians. But is there any chance the Guardians are playing by fire with trading away some of their better players after Jose took a pay cut to stay here?
I mean, clearly Jose's pissed. As, he's not – I don't think they're playing with fire because he's not the type of player that's going to demand a trade out of here, I don't think. But he's not happy. I mean, that was his double play partner. Well, that's not true. He plays third base. It's a guy he connected with. He thought he was an important player on the team. I personally think Andres Jimenez was overrated, but I don't like the fact that they essentially made a trade to save money. I don't like that.
Man.
Even though I don't have a problem. The trade itself I actually am okay with. I don't like why they made it, and I don't like that they're not spending the money that they would have spent on Jimenez. We gave them credit for finally spending on players when they did with Jose and Jimenez, and they have followed that up with no spending, essentially, since then. And now they traded one of the guys that they paid, which, okay, it's fine, as long as you're going to spend on other players, which they haven't done to this point, and based on everything I've heard, they won't. So, yeah, I don't blame Jose for being pissed.
Go ahead, Tyler. Go ahead.
I think this is one of those moves that, the Guardians typically do things where we look at it like, why would you do that? Like, what the heck are you doing type thing? And later on, it turns out to be a good thing. I think I'm hoping and I'm thinking that this scenario is that, because there is no doubt that Jimenez glove was, the plays he made on defense was unbelievable, and he'll be missed in that part of it. But you did draft Travis Bazzana. I know he's not up there yet, but you did draft Travis Bazzana to take over at some point. So you're thinking about that part of it. You want to get him up at some time this year. And I think, I don't know the return for him is, I get shed money. But my thing about when the Guardians do things to shed money, well, we don't spend the money.
Right.
So what's the point of shedding the money? That's the part that always gets to me.
It's frustrating.
But Jose doing this, I guess you got to shake up the clubhouse sometimes because there's a lot of guys that they kept around for years. Your boy, Miles Straw, they kept him around for years because he was just this great guy. And,
He sucks.
My point exactly.
Yeah.
But they kept him around for years.
Well,
but when they got off of him and probably brought somebody else in, like you seen the team kind of take off a little bit in
Well,
that
that's because
aspect.
Miles Straw stunk.
I'm just saying.
He's a flawed player, but he's
saying. I'm just saying. I'm trying to use an example to
I
where
don't-
you might like this guy, but
Yeah.
we might have an answer that might be better
Y'all-
suited.
Yeah, go
Y'all be
ahead.
trying to be so nice, man.
What?
Y'all so nice to these dudes.
Oh,
It's
my
so-
gosh.
Listen, I get it. I understand that they're the foil. They're the foil to what you do with the Browns. And sometimes in the city, if you hammer the Browns or you hammer the Cavs, you don't want to hammer the Guardians because you like, I got to at least be kind of even. I don't want to be sounding like I'm just hating on everybody. So, and the Guardians
it's a good story.
They do be winning, so at least they're not too bad. But that's not the goal of it. Again, your goal is to win games. Your goal is to win the World Series. And if they don't spend no money, they're not winning the World Series. So we can all just say we okay with them being a nice story and winning these little games. But that's not what the objective is. And as far as Jose Ramirez, I don't want to hear nobody ever. I don't want to hear nobody ever in no city talk about take a discount. Get the hell out of here with a
I
discount.
agree with that.
You should never take a
I
discount
agree.
because you know what they do? They sell you on a discount and then still trade people for money.
Especially in baseball where there's no salary cap.
So why would you, if you're Jose, you looked around, you're like, well, listen, man, Francisco Lindor, I guess, I know he wanted a super bag, so I'm cool with that. But then Jimenez, but he wouldn't even get paid that much. It wasn't like he was killing the bank. You got rid of him. Everybody, everything that they do, right? And they tell you,
He didn't.
oh, no, he's not ready. No, it's not the fact that he's not ready. They want control over these people. They want the maximum number of years that you can play for minimumski wages. That is what they want.
Yeah.
And Bazzana will not be up here next year.
Yes, he will.
They already done told you. Listen,
he'll be here by July.
No, he'll be here looking around by next year. I heard if I haven't seen Kyle Manzardo.
Wait a minute, get this on camera.
Shake that hand. Shake my hand. There it is. If we have not seen Kyle Manzardo,
We did.
hold on. Every day, Kyle Manzardo.
He will be.
We heard he been here how long?
He will be this year. He'll play every day. Or almost. Yeah, he'll be a starter.
Again,
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
But this is the thing though. You can't be honest.
The Guardians for me
Wait
is
a
like
minute.
Bull
Wait a
doing it
minute.
2 years in a row.
You gotta
If
be
I
honest.
haven't seen it in the playoffs yet, I don't believe it.
He did it in the playoffs. That's why they said they good with it.
No, I need him to be.
The problem with Jimenez is we didn't see it in the playoffs, so that's Rocchio did better than him in the playoffs.
Let's be clear.
That's why they like, you know what, we can't, the defense is great, but when we want to get to where we want to go, he ain't getting it done on the offensive side. And you the main one saying, we ain't got no sticks. We ain't got no sticks. And you sitting here lobbying for a man that can't hit.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you what. You look at Jimenez and you look at Rocchio.
What about him? Rocchio got it done in the
But to
postseason.
defend G. Bush, if the Guardians after that trade had signed a big-time offensive free agent, you wouldn't have complained about
They
the
didn't
trade.
do nothing after the trade.
They might go get Peter Alonso.
Right. No, there's no might. They're not signing.
They're not
Peter Alonso.
doing nothing else. Like this is
They
it.
won't even sign Gleyber Torres. If they sign Gleyber Torres to play second base, I'd be okay with that. He's a much better hitter.
Here's how they play you. And here's how you do it.
You know what? Wait a minute. I wear my jacket today. Listen,
You know, two
look,
things- you better defend them.
they gonna do something to
Guys,
shut both of them up.
Two things can be true at once. The Guardians are in most ways, a very good run organization.
Man.
Chris Antonetti and Mike Chernoff are a great front office, maybe the best in the league. They have unlike the Browns, they have a great culture on the team. They win a lot. And on the same vein, they don't spend enough and they make decisions, or the owner does, based on money, and that's frustrating. Both things can be true.
But here's what they do. This is very clever. What they
They
do
might.
is, here's how they do it. See, what they do the inside club. They frame everything as if either you know baseball or you don't. Knowing baseball means that you know a bunch of prospects and names of people that may never play. So if you spot off 75 prospects, be like, hey, they got Jonas Valanciunas Jr. He's a right fielder from the Pirates organization.
Valanciunas.
Baseball America has him rated the 35th best outfielder, but I like his advanced analytics. He strikes out a little bit too. No, that's not normal. Either you got ball players or you don't. and you got rid of a triple, quadruple glove
wait a
from
minute.
Minimowski for money.
Wait a minute. Where were we overpowered at? What position did we have a bunch of last year?
And whose fault is that?
I'm just saying.
They didn't put it
I'm
on
just
auto
saying.
pick. They picked these guys.
Y'all the ones.
The
We
second
got a
baseman.
bunch of middle infielders. If they found a way, if they could get some stuff and shed some salary
Well,
for somebody.
let's see how the trade pans out.
Yeah.
All right. We'll move
We
off
need
that for now.
sticks.
We got Bernie Kosar coming in studio now.
We do. We're going to bring Bernie out here in 1 second after a quick word from FanDuel. You can tackle all of the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if their first $5 bet wins. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out all the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to join today. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
By the way, new Bernie was coming in.
Oh.
I got that Kosar coffee today.
Kosar coffee.
You got it in there
Yeah, a little
today,
raw
huh?
peanut
I'm still
powder.
drinking the
You got
plain
the raw
water. That's
stuff?
a bad job
You
about
got
me.
I ain't got the raw stuff yet, but I do have the Kosar coffee. But I am gonna order that raw stuff. That sounds crazy. Like if the feds like emailed me and was listening, and they're like, yeah, Bernie's moving the raw stuff.
Keep it clean, man. You got my DEA friends got you covered, all right, man?
Bernie, a few weeks ago, we were talking about could Jameis be the Browns quarterback next year. Now he's not even the quarterback next week. DTR, as Jameis got benched. Do you think the Browns are doing the right thing?
I do want to see what
Yeah.
DTR has to do. We talked about it a few weeks ago. Even whether Jameis did great or not, the season was over mathematically, out of the playoffs, and wanting to see where DTR falls in the pecking order of him as an NFL quarterback, him as a Cleveland Browns future, and or him as the Cleveland Browns backup future. Any one of those is kind of fair to ask about. So in a incredibly disappointing season, in the attempt at being somewhat positive, I'm actually looking forward to seeing him play, to see what he could do with this. And even like when he came into the game last week, one of the things, and I said this on a podcast the other day, and I'm going to say it's somewhat in jest now, but I really mean it. Like, we say on young quarterbacks that they need to learn and evolve and get more sophisticated in their performance and the plays around them. But also defenses know that. So when DTR's come to play his couple years here, he's kind of been thrown into the games at the last minute. So in turn, maybe the game plans and the play calling hasn't been as sophisticated for him. So help me God, on 3rd and 7 minus or 4th and 5 minus, and that DTR comes under center or in the shotgun, don't throw double slants, okay? Don't throw double slants. The whole world knows it's coming. The DBs knows it's coming, okay? We've been running it since I ran it in the mid-'80s. All right? He's more sophisticated than this. Okay, give him a fighting chance. And we need to give him a fighting chance with a week of preparation. This has been somewhat maybe a dysfunctional week with a changeover, but good or bad, I think we should see him through the rest of the season to see where he fits in the possibility of being around here. And whether it's the guy or the guy helping the guy, okay, it's imperative we find this out because we're going on our 25th year since the team's come back, and we've had this conversation for Christmas for 23 of these years. And it's becoming not funny anymore to see who the coach is, who the QB, what the draft position is. And should we just blow these last 3 games so that we have an opportunity to pick in the top 5?
Let me ask you about, since we're going with DTR, I think the play calling style has changed. You know, obviously Kevin has a certain way that he calls games, but with Ken, with Jameis, it was more passing, more shotgun. Which one of those styles do you think fits DTR better?
So I am, and for a guy who failed at the end of my career by doing way too much shotgun and not realizing the ramifications of constantly being a shotgun quarterback and the restrictions that puts on you and the incredible duress on the offensive line, it took me, and I realized this in the mid-'90s, and exactly why I retired earlier in it, is I absolutely think, not only just because DTR is, that we have to morph towards that. The whole crux of what we've loosely talked about through the course of this year is the limited to no personality of our offense and trying to be all things to all people offensively and really not the master of anything. And when you are struggling in the passing game, that really amplifies it. So I absolutely want to see more of the under center, more of the running game, more of the play action off of that.
Yeah, I looked at it, and as you watch DTR and you watch some of the other quarterbacks, Jameis Winston and Deshaun Watson, I was talking about this the other day. You let me know if I'm crazy. I don't want any parts of a quarterback competition in 2025. I don't want to see it. I just think that it would just be better for them to make an evaluation and say, look, this guy is going to be our quarterback. He's going to be the guy. He's going to be a starter for 2025. We'll look for somebody else. He may be a bridge guy, maybe a veteran. Let people know that, hey, we might even draft a rookie to kind of develop. But I just think the worst thing possible is going into 2025 and you do the same thing that you do now. But now you say, okay, Deshaun Watson's back in the mix. Jameis Winston is back in the mix. DTR is back in the mix. I just feel like the football team, to get better and to identify other places that they need to draft, give me a dude, let him start all the games in 2025, and we'll work around him. I don't like the competition. What are your thoughts on opening next year with the big question mark of who's the quarterback again?
So actually to Tyvus's, to the end of your question, and it morphs exactly into what you're talking about, and it's almost heresy when we say as ex-players, no competition. But I tend to agree more towards you on that because we need to really figure out who we are personality-wise to start with now. And just like we talked about too much shotgun, too much spread, too much passing, Jameis and DTR didn't have a great game this past Sunday, obviously, but neither did the great one, Patrick Mahomes. And that's because it was so friggin' miserable, to play. And thankfully, I was under a nice, cozy, warm suite, not having to do the rain and the wind. But it was tough to throw in those weather conditions. And then here we are in shotgun. You can't make it any harder on us Qs. So you need those running games. You need that play action. You need under center. And again, G. Bush, to your point about, again, it sounds just in itself. If you segment out that quote and say, we don't want competition next year. But there is a way to do competition and or make sure it's done right. And I really like the way I was raised in the NFL. I was the top pick of the quarterback of the draft. I was coming to Cleveland. In today's day and age, they'd say, okay, you're going to be competing for this job. We're going to see what you could do, try to learn it and stuff. And from the very beginning, they told me, no, you're not playing. Okay, just like Patrick Mahomes, no, you're not playing. Aaron Rodgers, no, you're not playing. Don't care about your feelings. Doesn't matter. And when you look at it like that and and then you don't have the pressure to have to look good on interviews, to BS through the city as you're coming, it's been declared for you. And because, to your point, and for the fans out there listening, it's not that we're against competition. It's not that we want anybody to run from competition. But in competition, like in Chicago, whether it's Mitchell Trubisky or Caleb Williams, we ruined two quarterbacks there by saying competition, throwing them in there, and it's easier to win jobs in OTAs and in training camp. Right. It's not real life, okay?
Bernie, you mentioned the running game, and obviously it's been a rough couple of seasons for Nick Chubb. He gets hurt again, breaks the foot. He's a free agent at the end of the year. What do you think his future is, both with the Browns and the league in general?
So, Bull, I think all of us, we love Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
If there's reincarnation, adopt him as my stepson.
Yeah.
He's such a great guy. And nothing more kind of hurts watching him come back on the second knee injury, then breaking the foot a little bit. And not that a broken foot, as I had one, and I'm still 35 years later dealing with it, it's still not as bad as the terribleness of the leg or tearing an Achilles and stuff. I love Nick. I believe he's the heart and soul of the team. I believe there's a big role in him, but I think it's unrealistic for all of us as fans and from an organization standpoint and for even as the player to realize Father Time gets us. So he absolutely belongs in the league. I believe he'll absolutely come back from this. But the days of making him the guy where he's going to carry it 25 times over 17 games and be fresh if we ever are a playoff team again in January when you're really going to need him rising like you see Barkley rising, I think it's unrealistic and really early to put that pressure on him.
Would you bring him back as like the number 2 guy on a cheaper contract? Because nobody's going to pay him a ton of money at this point.
So I think that we're trending with, I think that we're, depending on where you fall in the draft and depending on what you do with your draft picks, and seeing that we're 3-12 for a reason. It's just not the running back position. There's more, and it's unfortunately just not the quarterback position. There's depth and price issues across the board. So we're really looking, odds are, at probably having a running back by committee type stuff where he's one of your guys.
Let me ask you, buddy.
But not the guy.
Right.
So with the draft in April, let's say you are the general manager for the Cleveland Browns, and let's say the Browns have the 5th pick in the draft. What position group are you going for?
So I love where G. Bush was going with the quarterback type stuff. It's completely swimming upstream until that's worked out. Mm-hmm. Any team in the league, you're screwed, okay, for your long-term consistent ramifications. So Jimmy Johnson line, somehow, some way, I'm scouring the Qs, and I know the QBs are looking at Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward, and the odds of them being around at pick 5 is probably slim right now.
So that means
and then my guy Drew Aller said he's coming back to Penn State for his next year.
Yeah, he need a receiver.
So
God, does he need a receiver in the worst way? God, do you have my phone tapped when we talk? Like James Franklin, please, God. I'll NIL you a receiver for him, okay?
Whoa.
I will.
Let's go find any dollars. You send them to Columbus.
Hey,
Ohio State's got the most money. They spent the most money. They still choked.
They print money. They need to ante up and get that NIL money to get somebody out of town.
I'm excited to see how these playoff games go this weekend. And in Ohio State in particular. This is where, again, I like the Buckeyes. I like what Coach Day is doing. I know that's not a popular opinion right now. But to your question of what we should do as a Browns offensively, and are we throwing in the shotgun too much? You know, college football's typically done by this time of the year, and if you're playing this time of the year, you're playing in a pretty city with nice weather. You're not playing Saturday night in Columbus, where you're going to be miserable. So the running game and Woody Hayes and how you do that. So I go back to the first play of the spring game for Ohio State this year with Chip Kelly, your new offense. Full house. Wishbone. Okay, it's in your system. You're going to need some of that because Tennessee plays 12 defensive linemen on that rotation.
I remember, real quick, Mike, when I was in college, I did play-by-play for our Division III college football team. I don't even remember the school we played, but there was some school.
I thought you were going to say you remember the school you went to.
No, well, I'm not far off from that. But there was one school we played.
I have the TBI issues.
You do?
Yeah, not you.
Yeah.
I'm working on yours.
They would play the wishbone offense. And they had done it, this school, I can't remember the name, they had done it for years. It was just their system forever. And as I'm doing the play-by-play, half the time I didn't know who had the ball. Because all these guys would be crisscrossing in the backfield. It's a hard game to call when guys play like that.
Triple option is that Navy.
Triple option. That's what I meant. The triple
Yeah.
option. That's what they did.
It's the hardest to shoot too if you're shooting the game.
Oh yeah, it's so
Triple
hard to
option.
shoot because you don't know what the ball.
Triple option, the old school defensive coordinators say the number one thing you have to do against a triple option is take away that fullback. You can't let them. You can't let that dive work up the middle, or it's a long day for you with the options on the outside.
Mike,
Bernie,
you had a question for Bernie. He
yeah,
can't
I do have
hear
a question,
you though.
Bernie. You mentioned the Isaac Okoro out 2 weeks, by the way, with a AC joint sprain. Just a heads up. But
Talked him up.
we mentioned the college football playoff games, and they're actually being home field advantage in the opening rounds. And 2 games in particular, SMU heading to Penn State and Tennessee playing Ohio State here in Columbus. When you were at Miami, Bert, I know you're from up here, so you weren't impacted necessarily by cold weather, but a lot of the guys on Miami and a lot of the guys at the Southern SEC and Texas schools are from the southern states and Texas. There's a chance a lot of these guys haven't played in a legitimate cold weather game like this. How much of an impact do you think just the pure cold can have on 18 to 22-year-olds who are completely unfamiliar with that kind of environment?
Yeah, I actually love it. This is the environment for us unathletic old quarterbacks that it evens up the athleticism pace of it. And you could think about it, you could talk yourself into it, but if you haven't prepared and practiced in it, if you haven't practiced, lived, and played in it, it's a turnover issue. And the ball's just different. It's slipperier. I love the way defensive guys now go after and attack the ball. So it's going to be an issue, especially in the passing game. And with the wind and stuff, you just don't practice that enough. And that's where hopefully the home teams, Penn State and Ohio State, take advantage of.
By the way,
that.
Saturday night at 8 p.m. when the game starts, it's going to be 25 degrees in Columbus.
Awesome.
Yeah. What's the wind say?
Not bad. Only 6 miles an hour.
Bernie, are you team dome or you like outside element?
God, so you know what? I'm so unathletic, and I say that seriously. I mean, I know that I say that in jest so that you guys think I'm really joking, but I really am. I mean, I really ran a 5.5. And the fast surfaces, I still ran a 5.5, and the slow surfaces, I ran a 5.5. Okay? The fast guys get slowed down on the bad tracks outside. You know, you saw the lack of pass rush in the Thursday night Steelers game when the snow came down. Mm-hmm. You saw the pass rush dissipating with the rain on this past Sunday. That's my sweet spot. So. But I'm an old man, so I'm not playing, and I do not want to be sitting in it. So I'm massively conflicted as an old school guy right now.
Speaking of, he talks about his speed. I was watching his documentary the other day, and I just, was looking at Bernie. The fastest guy ever in a video game was Bo Jackson in Super Tecmo Bowl, right? But did you know that 3 players in the NFL were not in Super Tecmo Bowl? And Bernie Kosar was one of them. Apparently,
why?
He did not sign his deal to be in the video game. I think it was him and Jim Kelly, and one more person didn't sign. But the video game Super Tecmo Bowl, what happened, Bernie? That was the game of our childhood. You were not in the video game.
I gotta say, I'm a video game guy. And that's for, I mean, this is the holiday season. Don't have your family do your contracts. Okay?
So that's the behind the story, right? Go ahead. Give me
don't let your family do your contracts. Get professionals.
That is wild.
Yeah, no, I like that stuff. Just because before kids, I was a video game junkie.
Right.
And wanted to do that, but sometimes forces in the family and stuff get in your head, and they don't want to do something, and then all of a sudden they make it an issue, and I got bigger problems. I'm playing the Steelers or the Bengals trying to get in the damn playoffs. I don't want them arguing over, oh my God, I don't like your ranking.
So I went back because I do have a working model and I did fire it up, and he is QB19. QB19.
So it don't say Bernie.
I was trying to find Bernie's, your comparison to others in the 40-yard dash. Did you beat any of the other quarterbacks?
So me and Dan Marino, who we go neck and neck, all right? Yeah. We go neck and neck on. Hey, but the last thing to that joke I was saying about family and stuff, Coach Ginn has a great symposium that he does with the Glenville kids and he does the inner city kids. But he has a kind of a life lessons events where he talks to his players and young prospective athletes about if you make it, what you should do and some of the things like that. And he brings in real professionals, real attorneys, real accountants, real financial planners, and tells you, use them and keep your family as your family. And it's massively good advice. Yeah. So for the young kids out there, our families mean well, but we're not qualified sometimes to play in this space right now.
And a lot of young players who, maybe don't have a long career, they piss away their money.
Oh, you will for sure when your family touches it all.
Yeah.
Bernie, let me ask you this about DTR, my last DTR question. What do you have to see from him? Let's say he starts this season, he finishes the season as the starter. What do you need to see that'll make you confident that he could be the guy for next year?
So I think that's going to be super tough for him to pull out a miracle these last 3 weeks, and somehow we haven't. Zebras, that old phrase, zebras don't change colors. Okay, it'd be hard pressed for us here coming into week 15 to think that, okay, all of a sudden we're going to be good offensively. So it is a little bit unrealistic to put an enormous amount of pressure on DTR to say, well, man, we didn't play good the last 3 weeks. Well, we haven't played good all year. So for him to show that he's made progress, and then to show again that he can handle some sophistication, maybe not this week, although this is a ripe week to play against the Bengals, who have incredible communication issues. They're struggling on defense. They're 31st in the league against points given up. So it's not like we're playing the 85 Bears right now in terms of how you're going to offensively. So you should have some success. But I do think for him to elevate to where he's the guy next year, it's almost going to take a Herculean effort for that. And I've resigned myself to the fact that, like when you asked the question if we have the 5th pick in the draft, I've resigned myself to the fact that we have to scour for a top-tier quarterback.
If you got a top 5, so here's book it. If it's a top 5 pick, the Browns will be going after a quarterback, according to Bernie Sanders.
But if you're 5, see, that's where it's tricky though this year with so many needs. Is I don't think Cam and Shador are last in past pick 3, and to go from 5 to 3, it's easy. We have a lot of issues.
Yeah, a lot of
like we can't just we haven't picked the number 1 pick for 3 years. It's not like we could chuck away picks again.
I think, listen, you never know how things turn out, Bernie, but I don't think it's a crazy idea. Let's say the Browns finish with the 6th pick. I don't think it's crazy to think that the Browns could trade down, get a 2nd first-round pick next year, and then use the 2 first-round picks next year but to potentially trade up for Arch Manning or the kid at Tennessee. Again, you don't know.
Yeah, so I know that's heresy to say trade down here in Cleveland after all these years of doing it, but I will fall into a lot of times into that trade down philosophy because, look, you could blow the 5th pick like you could blow the 12th pick, and we've done that for decades in my career. So you may as well try to get 5 or 6 extra picks and hope you luck into 1 or 2 guys.
If you in the draft, I don't know if this guy will be here anyway. Shador's running mate, Travis Hunter. It's tough for me because I would. I'm gonna tell you, if I had Travis Hunter, I'm using him everywhere. Like he's gonna play. Listen, all the snaps here. He's gonna return kicks. He's gonna do a lot of stuff. Now, granted, people say you can't run that in the NFL. If you did get Travis Hunter, A, do you think the Browns would use him on both sides of the ball, or B, would you not take him because you would not use him on both sides of the ball? You think that would be some sort of issue?
So I'm one of the guys. I love him. I think it would be a sin to bring him here now under our quarterback and offensive uncertainty right now. It would be a waste of his talent. But I'd play that kid everywhere. He'd be hard pressed to leave the field. For sure, he'd be playing special teams. I want him to get the rock all day long, and I wouldn't want to throw against him either. So I would want to use a guy like that. And unfortunately, I tend to overuse players. And I've said this a couple times on the show. I feel bad in the holiday season that I shorten people's career by being an idiot, wanting to practice and do all that extra stuff and play. I don't care if you're hurt, and I shorten my career and I shorten others. And I would be the guy overplaying him. And I hope that Myles Garrett and him, if he was on the team, I wouldn't burn him out by the time we're ready offensively, where we have a clue what we're doing, to where it matches up. Because, man, we're going to be using them all day long, but like we could have used them all day long Sunday and it wouldn't have made any difference. We couldn't get him the rock.
Yeah. Kind of like we've done with Myles Garrett so far, or Nick Chubb. We've talked about his best years past him, or Joe Bitonio. It's just like you want him. You want to get to a point.
Look at
where
Joe Thomas had a whole career and he's in the Hall of Fame, but like.
No winning.
You didn't get up. I mean, we could conceivably never have a home playoff game.
That's
there.
right.
That's wild.
That's true. With the new stadium coming.
Since 1990, that's crazy.
That never have. That is.
I
hadn't thought about that.
25 years of this quarter of this century wasted there on the weekend. You know, getting yelled at by your family.
Oh my God!
You know, if you're going to do that.
That's a great point. I hadn't even thought about that at all.
Never
one playoff game.
Then,
Bernie, last thing. I think you mentioned the '85 Bears.
God, look at the spark in your eyes after that.
Well,
one.
it got emotional.
I've been saying for years that everybody's always like defense wins championships, and maybe it did at a time. I do not believe that anymore. Quarterbacks win championships. We've seen.
Pump it.
Most of the last 15 years, it's been superstar quarterbacks that have won. And it made me think, and I always think about the 85 Bears, who you referenced. And even G is too young. You don't remember the 85 Bears. I mean, you were like 5, right?
Yeah, 5.
Okay. These guys, except for Steve, and he don't watch football. I was 14 for the 85 Bears, so I remember that team. That, to me, was the greatest team I've ever seen, way better than the undefeated Patriots in the regular. I've never seen a better team. They didn't have a good quarterback, or he was always hurt. In Harbaugh, he was okay that year, but McMahon, not Harbaugh. Yeah. Obviously, they had the greatest defense I've ever seen. I don't know if you think it's the best ever. Certainly, one of the 3 or 4 best running backs I've ever seen. Maybe the best. I don't know. I'd say Barry Sanders #1 personally. And yet, it couldn't sustain more than 1 year. Right? They couldn't win again. Whereas, like Tom Brady, multiple championships. Peyton Manning, multiple championships.
Yeah.
I don't know. And that's the greatest defense ever, in my opinion.
Yeah, that team, though, and when I was younger, I maybe didn't understand or appreciate it as much. I did have to play the home opener at Chicago 1986 after that 85 Bears team. And looking at Mike Singletary's eyes, like at middle linebacker, is awesome. I'm still a little scarred from that many years later. But so when you were asking about what maybe we should do offensively, when you have a Myles Garrett and you have a loaded 85 Bears team, and you could name 7 guys that are Hall of Fame type guys, but they also had a Hall of Fame offensive line and of course a Hall of Fame Walter Payton.
Right.
And you put that type of team together and run the type of play action running game that they did, that I believe we should. Should be doing. And now evolving some of the 2024 kind of passing concepts down the field. That's actually kind of an evolution of the kind of team I visualize being consistent now. And the reason why I believe they didn't have a long run is because they timed up bad against the genius of Joe Montana and Bill Walsh. They were lock and loaded at that point.
Great quarterback, though, ultimately.
They had a great quarterback, and then Parcells hit the Giants, the Parcells, young Bill Belichick. So that was a competitive time.
The funny thing, too, is the Fridge got so much hype that year, and there were probably 20 players on the team better than him. At least. I don't know. Man. Anyway.
I don't know. The Fridge, I'm not going to, God bless him, but and I played with his younger brother. But the fridge when he was laying on top of me on a couple of sacks wasn't very festive.
No, I bet not. I
A
bet
skinny little co-star here,
Yeah.
with pancakes.
Bernie, great stuff as always, man.
God
Thank
bless,
you.
guys.
Merry
No
Christmas.
matter. Merry Christmas.
Happy
Happy
New Year. We'll
holidays.
see you later.
See you guys.
Thanks,
see
Bernie.
Bernie in 2025 again. Bernie, thanks
Yeah.
as always for coming in. We're going to move on to our next topic. It's brought to us by TNT, guys. It's that time of the year. We talked about it with Bernie. The college football playoff is back, and with the newly expanded 12-team format, it is guaranteed to be bigger and better than ever before, bringing you all the hard-hitting and high-flying excitement that you love. TNT Sports coverage of the college football playoff begins December 21st, starting with the college football playoff show presented by AT&T at 11 a.m. The first matchup, SMU and Penn State, are heading into action. And then at 4 o'clock, Clemson's looking to upset Texas in a showdown. Don't miss a moment of the action. You can watch the college football playoff presented by Allstate live on TNT, True TV, TBS, and Max. So the Cleveland Browns, in terms of actual football news, it's a slow time of the year.
This is not actual football news.
That's what I'm saying. It's a slow time of year. So we're going to off the field and into the dome football news.
How
Nathan
embarrassing,
Segura,
guys, is it that we're about to talk about some architect designing the Browns stadium and not about an actual football game that's happening in 3 days because the game is completely meaningless? Isn't this sad?
It's not meaningless for your Cincinnati team.
It's not, but for the Browns it is. At
It
least
is
in terms of the
meaningless.
standings.
Tomorrow we are going to do a full show based off the game.
Yeah,
and some
I
of the
know. It's
matchups,
just
but
sad. As
It
Titus
is.
said
It's
before the show,
disappointing.
we
It's
had so much
disappointing.
fun last year talking about this team, and now it's painful. But
We got
go
like
ahead.
3 good weeks. Seriously,
that?
we got like 3 good weeks of Monday to Friday content on this team.
Like,
And that's about it. But
yeah.
if you guys didn't see, the Browns put out the interview. Nathan Segura sat down with Lance Evans, who is the venue design and director of the architecture firm that's building the Brook Park Dome. They gave some of the new features that you can expect in the Brook Park Dome, just a few of them. The special dog pound wall, which is going to be a college-like atmosphere straight up to intensify the sound and bring back what they hope to be the new era of the dog pound. A grand concourse, because it's built by the airport, it's partially underground, so when you walk into the stadium, you're going to walk into what he called a grand food hall as opposed to just your traditional concourse. They have the closest and lowest seats to the field in the NFL, which means it's also the smallest upper deck, which could mean fewer and fewer cheaper seating options and more expensive options. And their roof, which is covered but is open with natural light, was inspired by the Museum of Art and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame based on that triangle shape. You can read the full article and some of the other details on clevelandbrowns.com. But when you see some of these features coming from the same architecture firm that built Jerry's World in Dallas, the Viking Stadium, and SoFi, are they doing a good job? Are they hitting the mark with what they should in terms of building a feature for a new dome here in Cleveland? I can see the excitement on both faces.
Go ahead, Tyvis.
So
I just don't like some of these things. If you're super wealthy, you'll be able to take advantage of these lot of things. And that, listen, Jimmy Haslam owns the team. If he pays for the stadium, he has the absolute right to do whatever he wants, charge whatever he wants. But he's not going to pay for the whole thing. The state's going to pay for some of it. The county will end up probably paying for some of it. They're saying no right now, but we'll see. And the regular Joe fan is probably going to get screwed, as they always do, by these new stadiums, and I think that sucks. Of course, it's cool. All these things are cool. Most of them will benefit Jimmy Haslam and the very rich donors and things. But yes, overall, seems like this could be good for the area, I think. And it'll be beautiful and it'll be cool to look at, and most people won't be able to go. So,
well, if I keep my job
Yeah.
for 4 or 5 more seasons, I'll be there. So
yeah, that's true.
be there for free. So therefore, I got to keep my job for about 5 more seasons. Well, how much is a ticket to a game?
I have no idea.
Like, all right, not now, because I'm sure
Good question.
they like not expensive now. But like, how much it costs to go to? Like,
So I could give you an actual story. That random Chiefs fan we met at Sweet Pork Wilson's,
Yeah.
who none of us know. Before you guys got there, I was talking to him because you guys were half an hour late, and he said he bought tickets to
All
the
right, for the
Browns.
record, I was not a half hour late. I said I wasn't
You did.
coming
You
till
said
3:30.
3:30.
Yeah.
Everyone else was half hour late.
I was ready to go at 1.
Gee, all right.
He said that when he found out the Chiefs were coming to Cleveland, him and his neighbor bought tickets the first day they went on sale.
Yeah.
They had upper deck, not nosebleed, but upper level, the upper deck tickets for $160. He tried to sell, or he was looking at what he could sell them for if he wanted to.
$10.
No, it's $35 was the going price for that seat. So $160 preseason Tyvus for an upper deck seat. He could have sold it for $35.
So that $160, how much? Do you think that even gets you in the stadium?
I doubt
for the
it.
Noob Dome.
I don't know, but I don't have a really good
Like I don't know how much tickets is because
They might by that time 5
I
years.
ain't paid for one.
5 years and I don't go. Listen, I don't go to the games. I don't like being outside. I like the comfort of my own home, and I don't like people talking to me while I'm in the game because I be wanting to watch
Right,
what's going on. I can't be
too distracted.
It can't. It don't work like that. I like to watch it from the spot. But look, I keep trying to tell people this, and they don't want to hear this, but it's true. People say a lot of things, right? If you smoke cigarettes, right? It don't matter how much the price of cigarettes is, right? It don't matter
for most people.
For most people, it don't
That's
matter.
a fact.
Like if you got kids, right? And your kids want to go to Chuck E. Cheese or Disney World, right? Or Disneyland.
Well, that's different.
Now, look,
That's different.
You might not be able to go the whole time.
Okay,
You can go a day or two.
Make sure you
Get
clarify.
Get in the building real quick.
But gee, $160 now.
But-
to sit in the upper deck. I don't know why anybody would sit in the upper deck. You can't see anything.
Okay, so
See,
why?
I wouldn't know.
I'm gonna tell you this.
I wouldn't know either.
Why do
What's wrong
why do
with
people go to church?
I don't know.
People go to
It's
church.
good for the soul.
And there are a few things that us as Americans is a prerequisite to our Americanhood, right? We love football. It's embedded in you, and it does not matter what the money is.
Yes, it does for some people.
For some people. But
Yeah.
what I'm telling you is people who drink a 6-pack after work
Yeah.
because they house life is horrible and I done worked a long shift and staying on my feet.
Yeah.
I don't care if that 6-pack
Yes.
is $40.
There will be people that will use all of their disposable income on
Yes.
it.
Like
I
there
don't
was-
care.
I'm not saying the stadium's not going to be full. I'm just saying it
Look,
sucks.
Here's how I know.
Yeah.
Here's how I know.
That six-pack
I got
$40.
people. I got people. No names mentioned. Dustin. No names mentioned. Tyvus.
Yeah.
No name mentioned. Darren.
Yep.
Y'all gonna be on FanDuel tonight.
Hey,
You're gonna get your FanDuel, no matter if it's 10,
Whoa, okay.
15,
Yeah, I had to say
20, you gonna be on there.
Make sure you
And some
specify.
And some people that when that new Madden come out,
Yeah.
they get in that Madden come hell or high water.
Right.
So when these tickets come out, listen, some people will fall off because they'll be like disgruntled with the Browns.
Yeah.
Some people will say, by then I'm a Bills fan. Some people say, I'm not gonna give Jimmy Haslam no money. But the majority of the Browns fans that been sitting here with that stadium over here, when they open that shiny new stadium and they get to looking around in September, they gonna tap they significant honey.
Don't let them become
Get on Browns.com, get them tickets.
Don't let 2028 let them be a
be
decent or playoff.
Don't
team.
let them have another quarterback. Oh, yeah, they coming right in here to get that bread.
Another. You mean since Bernie?
No. All they need is Baker level.
Yeah.
You give us Baker level,
that's true.
They will go in there and give all their little coins away.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
cashing
fair.
out.
That's fair. Everybody jumps back in. Before you got in this morning, we were talking, Tyvus, Mike, Earl, and I, and we were talking. I don't know how this conversation started. I said, don't worry. By the time we get to the summer, you, G, and Jay will convince yourself that the Browns are going to go to the playoffs.
Oh, this is after I said we
yeah.
had so much fun talking about
That's
the
right.
Browns last year.
Yeah.
Especially if they give me any. So here's how it works. If they
Yeah.
give you any semblance of a new quarterback room,
Yes.
that's a fresh restart on
That's
everything.
right.
Now you don't even have to look at the old. You be like, you know what? You can imagine all of the great stuff that's gonna happen.
That's right.
And then you be like, Nick Chubb, he's coming back. You know what? They got a new offensive coordinator. Look what McNuggets will have all the analytics and stats. Or
He
Steve
will.
have all the give me tag board full. Give me 21. You got all these charts and graphs. You like, hold on. So we got new quarterback, new coordinator.
Yep.
They gonna change the face mask again. Like, wow, you see them all Browns? They got black face masks now.
Oh yeah, everybody be in.
Everybody be and Jerry Judy's already a number one.
Oh yeah.
Don't let him get a free agent.
Will he
receiver.
still be here
yeah.
5 years, 4 years from now?
Oh, we just saying
I don't think it'll be one person on this roster that'll be here.
No, but we're just talking about next year.
But we just talk about how quickly things can change and people get amped up.
Yeah.
They may not like this. They don't like it now, but wait till they break ground. Wait till you start seeing
When
the
is
pictures
that? Like, I want to know.
with construction cranes up.
Is this thing like officially happening? Like,
they're talking about it as if it is.
that's what I'm saying. But like, isn't it like a lot of stuff that has to go down? before-
Well, I mean, in the end, he's got enough money to pay for the whole thing himself if he has to.
So,
It sounds
so
like.
but I
don't know.
thought it was a whole issue with him even taking it out of downtown.
I think that's
Wasn't it
posturing.
some
they gonna-
politician that was like, "Oh, we're gonna do the art model law."
City council?
That's
You
posturing.
talk about city council?
They ain't doing anything.
What, they ain't got no power.
They're already trying to.
What happened to the
And by the
one
way,
dome that
the
they?
Don't forget Cleveland City Council. I got my eye on you. You're doing some shady stuff to that one council person. You're trying to screw her out of her spot. You know who you are. What's his name? Blaine.
I don't even know.
Blaine.
I don't even know what
Blaine,
he's talking
the
about.
No, there's a city council member. His name is Blaine something or other.
Bull.
I got my eye on you, man. I know what you're doing.
I don't know
Are
what.
you watching?
Trying to push out that woman who actually wants to work to make Cleveland better. Stop it.
Man,
You're trying to gerrymander her out. I don't want to hear that.
I don't know nothing about what he's
Some
talking about.
Democratic bullcrap.
Bull be
For people who
watching.
say I'm always ripping Republicans. There's some Democratic nonsense going on.
Bull be watching
People know what I'm
Channel 2.
talking about.
You be watching.
No, I don't
Channel
watch
13.
anything. I don't watch the news at all. My wife tells me.
You pull up to city council meetings.
Never. Never in
Oh,
a
Bull
million
definitely
years.
has picket signs and the
My
the
wife
big
knows all this
banners.
stuff.
So you already indoctrinated in. You get all the inside.
Oh,
juice.
yeah. All this nonsense. Anybody in the know knows what I'm talking about right now.
This dude got a political radio scanner.
Yeah.
Hey, there's something
Oh,
going
yeah.
down. PTA meeting.
Should have the guy's
Rocky
name.
River.
that did it.
I don't
Bull, while
even
you
know
look
what
up
he's
that
talking
person's name,
about.
let's get to our last topic of the day here, guys. It is brought to us by Hillsdale College. Time is our most precious commodity, so don't waste it scrolling through the same mind-numbing content for hours and hours. How can you spend it more wisely to improve yourself? Well, our sponsor, Hillsdale College, is offering more than 40 free, that's right, free online courses, including, these are just a few of the ones that are available, Introduction to Free Market Economics, The Great American Story, A Land of Hope, The Rise and Fall of the Roman Republic, and a brand new documentary-style course on Marxism, socialism, and communism. All of Hillsdale's courses are self-paced so that you can start whenever, tune in wherever, and go as deep as you want with readings, quizzes, and discussions, or simply just enjoy the lectures. Go right now to hillsdale.edu/lockdown to enroll. There's no cost, and it's easy to get started. That is hillsdale.edu/lockdown.
Blaine Griffin, the council president, and he follows me on Twitter. So
Hasn't he come on the show before?
I don't know if I can't remember, but he knows what he's done here. It ain't cool,
Okay.
and there are people that know what's happening.
There you
Let's
go.
get
You
on
tell
it.
him, Bull.
Yeah.
Okay, Steve, you got the SOT ready? So at the NFL general managers meetings, I guess is the... Yeah, and Steve is right. He says Blaine has been on the show before. I was right.
All right. Well.
So Blaine, I know you watch. You're a fan. Don't screw with Bull.
Yeah.
Or whatever
Not
you're
screwing
doing.
me, but they're trying. He and some of the other council members are gerrymandering the districts in Cleveland, which we voted against as a state, which is terrible. And that's in the state level, it's Republicans pulling the nonsense. In the city level, it's Democrats pulling nonsense. Both are wrong. Gerrymandering is terrible, whether it's Republicans doing it or Democrats doing it. So stop it.
There you go.
You think
Should be fair maps everywhere. Shouldn't favor either side.
You think they're gonna listen?
Well,
Bull's a
I
big
don't know.
platform. You never know.
They're trying to push out. There's one woman who's on the city council. She's new. She actually gives a crap about the people of Cleveland, unlike some of the other council members who are there just to be a council member and not do anything. This woman cares, and they're trying to push her out, and it's nonsense. Shout out my man Mike McIntyre, works for the NPR in Cleveland. He's a good dude, and he's on top of all this stuff. Go ahead, Mike.
All right, back to the topic. So last weekend was the NFL's Accelerator Program, which is where a bunch of assistant GMs from across the league go, and they talk about, I guess, I don't actually know what they do, but it's the NFL's Accelerator Program. All the assistant GMs across the league go there. And Catherine Hickman, the Browns general manager, talked to Ian Rappaport afterwards, and they talked about the program, But then he asked her about the season, and she gave a pretty interesting answer. I want to play this soundbite, and then we'll react. This is Browns Assistant General Manager Catherine Hickman talking to Ian Rappaport. Steve?
This is not as fun a subject, but obviously it's been a tougher year for the Browns, tougher than I think a lot of people imagined. What are some lessons you've learned from this year in Cleveland?
I think some of the processes we've built and doubling down on those processes and knowing that, of course, in every year you want great outcomes. That's just what we all here to win. We all want to win. Now, I do think some of the things we're establishing are going to be sustainable and are going to create long-term results and sustainable winning results. So I think that's one of the learning is like, okay, how can we continue to build on those, invest in those, and making sure that we tweak them along the ways and not get too, driven or sidetracked sometimes by outcomes that can be really difficult. Like this is National Football League, like there will be tougher years. So staying true to that, I think has been a learning.
I don't know if she's speaking. I don't think she's speaking. I'm not saying this because of her accent, but like none of that made any. Did you even understand what the hell she said there?
Yeah, I do.
Let me tell you something.
My question is, and then you go off, is you talk about the process?
Yeah.
What is the process? What do you think
Nobody
the Browns
wants to
process
hear
is?
that. No fans want to hear that. Here's the thing. All the front offices in Cleveland, Browns, Cavs, Guardians, they all go to the same person for me. I'm not making this up. This is true. They go to the same person for media. They all talk the same way. They all talk in that what I like to refer to as modern nerd. And they all say the same things. None of them give you any answers. My man Chris Antonetti, who's very good at his job, went on with Nick Wilson and Jonathan Peterlin yesterday. No answers. He doesn't give any answers. He says the same things. They all do the head nod because that's what they've been taught. They all like to say, she didn't say in this case, but they all like to say interesting question or good question to kind of buddy you up a little bit. And they never give you anything. There's no real answers, never from Berry, never from any of them. I actually will say that Kobe Altman's a little more forthcoming than the others, but they all kind of talk the same way. And it's beyond frustrating. And I listen, I ultimately want smart people to run my team. I get it. But when you talk advanced nerd, there's a lot of fans that are like, what the hell are you talking about?
They basically,
it's frustrating.
They sell you in the fact that, and my takeaway from that was, after sitting through countless PowerPoints about people doing the same thing, they're trying to tell you that the outcomes don't matter. She's saying that, listen, when we believe we have a long-term plan, and our long-term plan involves this process that we've come down with.
Yeah.
And even though we don't have the outcomes now, we're willing to double down on things that we are convicted by, even in the short term. If we take L's, if that means the long term is successful.
Right. I don't know that they don't want to win. They just think they know how to win, and it will happen eventually.
They believe that their plan will give us dividends. But the problem with that is this: every team that comes in here, every person that comes in here, and we do a bad job at saying this. We say this all the time. We've been firing people way too early. We've been getting rid of people. Guys didn't have a chance to set up this person. We fire these guys every 3 years. I always ask the question: stop saying in generalities. You tell me the Browns coach that got fired that shouldn't have got fired.
None.
Show me the Browns coach that
the only one you could argue maybe got an unfair thing was Mike Pettin.
But guess what?
But he hasn't done anything since.
Okay, so how many other?
Romeo Crennel.
Hold on.
Now, what did Romeo do?
They went 10-6.
And Romeo, and then went to the Chiefs and was garbage.
Let me tell you something. None of the Patriots guys can coach because they all think they're Belichick.
So what guys did the Cleveland Browns fire that got another job that balled out?
Nobody.
It has never happened. So when we keep saying we got to give it time, we always go too fast, you're lying. You didn't. They didn't perform here. They never got other jobs. You got the wrong candidate. So now the new team comes in and we say 5 years isn't enough. You know why you say 5 ain't enough? Because you got rid of Hugh Jackson earlier, because you got rid of Pat Shermer earlier. You got rid of Mangini earlier. Now they're selling us on, you know what, 1 winning season in 5 years because you're the Browns. Two.
Yeah.
Because you're the Browns, you should be happy for
Right,
us.
but yeah, absolutely. It was the same thing with Baker, right? It's like he all the arguments. Jay made him yesterday. He won a playoff game. That should be enough. You should be satisfied by that.
Look what we brought you. Because they on the outside, when you're on the outside, they look at us as some sort of poor little charity case.
Yeah, right.
You haven't been good since Jim Brown. So if I come in and give you C work, all of a sudden you should be happy. Why are you complaining about my C?
Right.
I gave you better than what you had before.
Meanwhile, fans of the good teams, if their team, like Yankee fans, lost their mind. Their team went to the World Series and lost their mind.
You go like other teams have the standards that are different.
Yeah.
So and by the way, they're comfortable with giving it because they're like, what are you gonna do? You lost your team, so are you gonna? You're not going to hammer us too much. Like, what are you going to say?
That's right. That's a big part of it. A lot of fans are scared to complain about the Browns too much because they're scarred from what happened when the team got stolen.
Yeah, like
that's a big part of this. I think there's no doubt about it.
When I seen this clip, when McNuggets sent me this clip, it was longer. It was like 2-3 minutes clip.
Right.
When I watched it, the first thing I thought to myself was, I wonder if she does the firing of the players.
Why would you think that?
Well, because everything that was said was pointless. But I thought to myself, as a former player, like when I've been fired 9 times, cut 9 times, so I know you don't really talk to the general manager. It's either the assistant or somebody else.
Yeah.
And I just thought to myself when I was listening to her talk, I was like, I wonder is she the one that tells the players, we're releasing you?
Maybe. I don't know. I think there's multiple assistant GMs, aren't there? Most cases.
I believe yes. I'll look up the Browns specific.
I just wanted to know.
Yeah.
Because that's like if you to be a real GM, like I guess you ain't the one that sometimes, unless it's I guess if you're one of the good players, maybe you talk to the actual GM. But if you're a guy like me, you talk to the assistants.
I don't never like this is the real world. I don't know. Working in a real job, you have evaluation periods. Like you got a mid-year, you got an end of the year. Usually, generally speaking, if you don't meet goals by mid-year, they put you on an action plan. That action plan is that if you don't raise X, Y, and Z by this time, you're on the track to get you out of here. If you don't hit it afterward, at the end of the year, you're in trouble. And most of the time, if you're an executive and if the revenue goals ain't being met or you don't have hit any of your strategic goals, they're looking to get rid of you and get somebody else. I don't know any other business in the world where you could be 3 in something and failing at your job where there is no urgency. I mean, these people are, they cool as the other side of the pillow, man.
I feel like the Browns talk to us or the fans as if, don't worry, like we're smarter than you. We've got it all figured out. You stay home, you buy your tickets, you drink your beers. We'll take care of the big boy business. They talk down to us, I feel like, and that pisses me off.
And when you do that,
I mean, they probably look at it like we're the ones that's educated on it. We literally make our livelihoods on it. So they think that since they're so invested that they would know more than the average fan, which...
Well, of course they do.
Exactly.
Maybe.
So I think that's why they think
You think the owner knows more than the average fan? He just has more information than we do.
Hey, but you could be in that office all day and twice on Sunday. When Deontay Foreman is returning kicks for you, you don't know what you're doing.
It's not unfair.
That you don't, like, in that past 4 to 5 levels.
Right.
All these things have to pass multiple checks before it gets to the field. Think about that. The game plan has to be looked over by DPS or whatever.
Yeah.
The roster, you go over the roster and you're majestic. The gymnastic tricks they do during the season. The Cleveland Browns think they smart because they got a bunch of people that they be waiver wiring. Got this kicker, move this dude. Why would you bring Dustin? Think about this. Dustin Hopkins was not hurt. They brought one kicker, elevated him, played him for a week, and brought Hopkins back. What is that? Can you tell me, McNuggets?
They was hitting the reset button.
What is that?
They was hitting the reset.
They paid him an extension, so they're not going to cut him.
So
that's what it is.
So why don't you let him kick Get out there and kick.
They felt like he needed a breather.
You need a,
He's kicking this week, by the way.
you need a break.
Yeah, we said that.
The other guy got signed.
That's like, do you tell your son?
Yeah.
He had a test last week. He comes to you and say, Dad, man, I bombed that test. They're really bad. And he says, you know what, Aaron? It's okay. No problem. I think you need a breather. Take the whole week off and then take another test.
Wait a minute.
What did you think was going to...
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. That's not the same thing.
Why isn't it the same?
Some people take it more sports related. Like
I don't know.
I need a week off. Like
No,
to hit
you
the
don't.
reset button.
Your
and then
kids
you come
don't
back
get.
and boom,
Your
you ready.
kids don't get weeks off. You take the test Friday.
These ain't kids.
Guess what? You should be a grown man. You should understand it more and be more mentally prepared.
What you know what? You know what? I better see y'all on this panel every goddamn day then, if that's the case. What y'all taking weeks off for?
Hey, I would be on here.
What you talking about?
I
Why
would
you
be
be
on
taking?
here.
What y'all taking weeks and vacations for?
By the
Why
way,
because it's healthy for adults.
So
to breathe.
That's what
Dustin needed a week off.
That's
Then
what
what are you talking
I
about?
take vacations.
I don't know.
during
I
the
actually-
season.
You need to sit down.
Who took a
I got no
vacation
problem
during the
with that.
season?
Jay Crawford.
Well, that's Jay.
Jay's playing in his own ballpark.
Jay was at the architect
Jay
meeting.
lives-
What are you
Jay
talking
lives-
about?
Anthony
realm.
Cantaspelli.
Technically, I am. 'Cause
Mike
I'm
did.
going to be off
I
from
did.
Christmas Day to New
What?
Year's Day.
Okay, yeah.
Mike, you went to you was just gone like 3 weeks ago.
No.
I missed one day. That's not a vacation.
Hey, listen.
I actually
I just
don't.
wanted to be
Tell-
known.
I don't
have a problem
I'm
with
glad.
options.
I'm
Technically
glad.
on the
I
panel.
know you don't.
Technically on the panel, I've done the most days all time. That's a fact.
Is that true?
That
Is
Yeah.
that true?
Yes.
You got me beat?
Yes, I do. And it don't look like it because I come like 4.5 seconds later and then
What
you
difference
know,
does it make?
because it's just
All I'm saying is
I think it's close.
you want to
between
take
me and G, no?
vacations.
No,
No.
he did 5 days when you were doing
That
3.
first summer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
It's not close.
I put in my time here.
but here's all I'm saying though. That when you say we're smarter than everybody, that move to me is like laughable. Like instead of you being like, no, you're gonna come to practice, you're gonna work through it, and we're gonna kick field goals and hit them. You say, let me go get another dude, give him a week off, get rid of that dude, and then bring back the other
but
kicker.
G,
Come
listen,
on, come
there's
on.
sometimes it's mental hurdles you got to get over. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, that's called being not mentally tough. The Steelers don't do that. No team does that. Can you imagine Mike Tomlin saying, I need a week off, dog? What the heck? What?
Well, I don't know if the player said it. Maybe the team decided he
The
needed a week
Steelers
off.
don't give weeks off. They even practice full pads on Friday.
No, they don't.
I don't know. It's one. I don't think that's. I don't think
Nobody
it's a big deal.
practice
See, no,
full
here's the
pads
thing.
on
Here's the
Friday.
thing.
Yeah.
When you're 3-11, we always talk about, oh, that's a small thing.
Yeah.
Everything's a small. Nobody else is saying that. Guess what? Listen, I made a business decision.
And on top of that, we in week 16. There's no way they
but
practice
Tyvus, these
full
little
pads
small,
on Friday.
these small little things with the
You
Browns.
only get
keep adding
12
up.
padded practices.
You give the kicker a week off. The tackle is talking
But-
about it's a business.
They wasn't
I-
going. What they
I
gonna do?
think-
Cut the man?
Gee, I think you've given a pass to guys for missing OTAs, haven't you?
This is the season, though, man.
G. Bush.
Part of preparing
So you
for
want
the
him to
season's
keep
over, though.
kicking and keep missing?
Yes, I want him to go play. Unless you have something.
Because this is what's going on. He's in practice, nailing them all in the game, and then he gets to the game and misses them.
At the end of the day.
So we're gonna just keep missing them.
So here's the thing.
Let's just keep losing games. Just keep letting them
So
miss.
here's what we do. Here's
makes
what we
no
do.
sense.
So just like the front office, we keep losing games. We keep being 3-11. So now they get. Hey, you know what? It's not that bad. 3-11 ain't that bad. Let's go into next season and do the same thing. They just told you they doubling down. Let's in the
doubling down
offseason-
on their processes.
Yeah, they process. So
Whatever
that
that
means next
is.
year, Tyvus, that they're going to still run in soft camp and nobody's going to play in practice.
So then, when March come around,
And that's a fair
you better
complaint.
make sure that you still.
But
on
I
the
want
same-
everybody at OTAs.
So they've told me.
When March come around, you, Jay, and Earl better be on the same page
I'm on the
with
same
everybody
time.
else.
I'm on the same time. Look, they fooled us.
He gonna see that draft. They gonna get Travis Hunter somewhere. He gonna say, you
Now
know what?
listen, that's all bets are off. All bets are off.
Okay, now
You give me Travis Hunter.
One
I want
minute in Super
I
Chats,
want
1 minute.
Deshaun Watson not eating dinner out. I'm now mad about Deshaun eating dinner with his
Hold on.
girlfriend.
Now they want to trade.
Yeah.
They want to trade different things they want. Jason gonna want Myles Garrett at OTA.
Yes.
He said no more Deshaun
No more
Watson.
Deshaun having dinner with his girl in the nightgown.
Y'all sad.
All right, let's get
All
to
right,
the
Super
super
Chat.
chat.
That's funny.
We have 3 super chats, and then we got the Mobley nicknames to read. Jeff's bookshelf says, "How did Anthony head to the IR after moving apartments?"
Anthony is a disaster.
Yeah,
when it comes to
physically a
Because
disaster.
He is a
Just a disaster.
Anthony has a mayonnaise lower body. He has no hamstrings.
Oh, mayonnaise lower.
He has only bones, and I don't
skips leg day.
It's what should be leg day? Like he uses his
Anthony's
arms
like,
on leg
remember
day.
in what was that movie where Samuel L. Jackson was like Glass Man?
Oh,
Snakes on a
Mr.
plane.
Glass.
Yeah, right.
Glass.
That's Anthony. He's the Glass
Yeah.
Man. He's Mr. Glass.
Brody's bottom line, I think this is in reference to how they pick the next All-Star Game coach if it's back-to-back seasons.
Yeah.
He says the team with the best record. Chris Fox says Bull doesn't understand basketball at all. Sheesh. And
Well,
blowing
maybe so, but what is that based on? There's nothing about-
I don't know when they comment.
All right, well,
I
after
can't
you,
go back
Mr.
and
Fox.
This is one right to the life.
Chose violence.
I'm sure
he chose violence.
I'm sure he's an authority on the NBA.
I choose to attack you.
chose violence.
Blowing Za 247
Yeah.
says, G, why both your knees got holes in them?
Oh, I got holes in my jeans and my knees. I got I got screws and everything in these boys. I got a whole machine toolkit right
Holes.
here. You see them?
Anthony also wants us to know that he's using PTO. He's not hurt. For the record.
So that means he can be in the chat.
Yeah, whatever.
Did he say that in the chat?
Yeah, he
That's
just sent us
fishy.
that.
Yeah, PTO, shut up.
The nicknames, we asked for some Evan Mobley nicknames. Steve Becker looked around and gave us 5 from the chat. Mike H. called him Slim Duncan. Aaron, Navy Bull son Aaron, called him EV4. Vincent
Terrible.
Ortega called him Daddy Longlegs.
That daddy long paw.
No,
Yeah,
man.
no, there's no way. No.
I'm not
That
calling
daddy
any NBA
long-
player daddy
That
anything.
daddy long.
No.
Marshall says Evan Almighty.
Terrible.
Big G OG says Allen and Mobley are Tower City. And Freddie B says Mobley and Allen are the flow and the fro.
How did Allen sneak in there?
I don't know, but I
Daddy-
don't
Daddy
like any
Longlegs
of those. Do you guys like any of those?
Daddy long legs is wild.
I feel like
Yeah, I'm canceling that one.
Like, can you imagine
Oh, and
if your
Steve
wife
Becker
come into the
says
room?
Steve Becker has one more he wants to add. He calls him Mobley Dick. So there
That's
you go.
terrible.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's horrible.
See you in overtime.
I expected
Peace.
better.